Hello and welcome to the Vantage Windows and Doors Elite Under-19 and Para National Track Cycling Championships. I'm Dale Woodford, and over the next 4 days we'll be covering all the evening sessions live on Sky Sport Next. Over the weekend, or this evening, I'll be joined by Graham Hunnan in commentary. Over the weekend, Paige Patterson will also be catching up with Sam Dakin, who's out injured, and some of the other athletes and coaches throughout the weekend. Action got underway this morning with the individual pursuit qualifying. Top qualifier in the women's was Kirsty James, in the men's Aaron Gate. They'll meet tonight in the final. James will be up against Jamie Nelson, making a comeback into the sport after being out with injury and also having a baby. Aaron Gate, well, his wife had the baby, but he'll also be racing tonight, and he'll be coming up against Josh Scott in the final. We also had the paracycling, first of our medals on the track this morning, the 500 metre time trial for the women, where Elizabeth Gasson took the gold medal, and in the men's it was Southland's Connor Dobson with a very impressive ride in the men's kilometre time trial. Well, last week was a big week for Cycling New Zealand. They named the team for the upcoming World Track Championships, which are on in Germany at the end of the month. To talk about that team and his expectations of those athletes for the week ahead, I'd like to introduce Martin Barra, the High Performance Director for Cycling New Zealand. Martin, always tough to name a team, leave some riders at home. How was that selection process?
I mean, this year obviously was guided through the performances in World Cups that acted not only as a qualifier for the Olympic Games, but for us as selection and preparation. As you've indicated, there's been some very difficult decisions, as in there's some really good bike riders that have been left on the chopping block. But again, these are good problems to have. It's much better to have a choice than not to have one. So we're very, very satisfied and comfortable with the teams that we're taking forward.
And what's the opportunity, or what are you expecting first from the riders you named over the next 4 days of racing?
National Championship is very important for us as part of our preparation for the World Championships. So most of these athletes are already in the final phase of preparing for the World. So you have to expect a very, very high standard of competition. But also for us, it's particularly important because a lot of the decisions around not just this Olympic cycle, but the next Olympic cycle are made on the basis of some of the competitions we're going to see here. So for some of the younger talent to be able to come and match themselves directly with our better riders when they are fully prepared. You've mentioned men's individual pursuit final tonight, where Aaron Gate is a very, very well-established rider who rode a sensational time this morning. He's only 0.04 of a second ahead of Josh Scott, who's one of our newer, younger development riders. I mean, just the prospect of seeing that and what that means for the future of cycling in New Zealand is very exciting.
Josh Scott, you mentioned him, 3 seconds personal best today. I was talking to his coach, Cherry Jide, on the way in. He's expecting a little bit more from him tonight, so Gate might have a battle on his hands. Oh,
I'm counting on that as well, too. I mean, Scott is a very, very classy rider. As this being said, Gate obviously is a very well-established professional, so I'm counting on a street fight tonight in the final.
You had a number of riders compete in the New Zealand Cycle Classic last weekend. Yeah. What's it like to turn around for those athletes coming off the road straight into the National Track Championships?
This is not something that has been well established in New Zealand in the past, but we spent the last year and a half trying to establish a better arrangement, better coordination between road and track for the riders. So, too much of the same thing, I guess, produces diminished results in the long run. So for us, it's particularly important to be able to mix the road and the track. And there's no doubt that our goal is to try to develop a generation of professional bike riders, including riders who are competent on the road. So it's a real extra, how do you say that, a string in our bow, something like that. As you can tell, I'm from Dunedin. But yeah, for us, that's particularly important.
Jamie Nelson come back into the sport after injury. She set that world's best time for the 1 hour here on the track, then was out injured. She's had her first child, but has really come back into the sport and is looking really strong.
Yeah, she's someone that we've been looking at very, very carefully throughout the course of her maternity and returning to training. Someone who's got that sort of record behind her and the experience that she's got can be a real deal maker and breaker for us come the World Championships. And obviously we're looking at her for potential for the Olympics as well too. So for us, that's a really, really important contribution to the team.
Can I ask you about some of the riders that missed out? Obviously, Sam Dakin's out injured. He put in a great performance for you at the World Cup in Brisbane. Missing these championships with injury, does that damage his chances going forward?
No, we still have an eye on Sam, and Jordan Castle is the other one as replacement riders or reserve riders for the World Championships. And so that nothing has changed on that front. It's just unfortunate that he doesn't get to put his wares on the track here.
And in the men's endurance program, massively strong squad. We've got 2015 Teams Pursuit World Champion Dylan Kennett, showing great form on the road, but no room for him. What's he got to do to force his way back into the team?
It's, as I was saying earlier, for us the selection was done over the course of the lead-up competitions. So it's about demonstrating your ability to deliver that under pressure in under racing conditions. You know, there's no doubt that Kenny's got a great track record with us. But we had lots of same dilemma as all the other squads. We had a lot of really good bike riders who have performed very, very well. And so you know, that's the task for him as for any other rider who missed out on selection towards the Olympics.
The event I'm most looking forward to, I think, at these championships is probably the Omnium. Aaron Gate, Campbell Stewart, plus numerous others. Is that going to help you decide who rides the Omnium at the World Championships?
Oh, absolutely. I'm counting on, again, I was talking about a street fight and men's individual pursuit final. It's the same thing with the Omnium. We have two guys who have been world champion in the Omnium. You know, for a nation as a luxury, that's pretty much as good as it gets.
I was talking to Campbell at the Cycle Classic, and he was really looking forward. He's hoping to get that spot to defend the title, and he was really looking forward to taking on some of the riders he hasn't raced before, like Viviani, etc.
And Kluger, yeah. There's no doubt. I mean, we started seeing a bit of that in the World Cups this year, where he's had the chance to measure himself directly against Kluger, and it was a favorable outcome. The proof will be in the pudding, and I mean, what's really cool about it is that we won't know until we get there. So I think the suspense will be all the way through. This being said, you know, Campbell is the rising force. He takes a lot into those competitions. It's not just the form, his ability to sprint, but his ability to think on the bike as events are unfolding is second to none. So one way or the other, that's going to be a great contest.
Well, all the best for the World Championships. You've named a fantastic team, so I hope you come home with some rainbow jerseys.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Barra, the High Performance Director for Cycling New Zealand. Well, tonight's program, what's coming up on the program? We're going to kick off with the under-19 and elite women's 500-metre time trial. We'll see the likes of Olivia Podmore, the Olympian, taking on the up-and-coming Sian Fulton. In the 1,000 metres men's time trial, under-19 and elite men, well, or the kilo, as we all love to call it, Zach Williams, the sprinter in the field, he's going to be taking on really the men's endurance team. Nick Kurzagu, Campbell Stewart, as we mentioned, Regan Goff. So that's going to be a real battle. Who's going to get it, the sprinter or the pursuiters? We'll also have the men's and women's scratch races. Another great opportunity for some young riders to really step up. Looking forward to Jenna Borthwick, Ella Wiley going head-to-head. And in the under-19 men's, can anybody touch two-times world champion Lawrence Pithy? He will really be a marked man. We'll also have, as I mentioned earlier, the individual pursuit finals. And what a battle this is going to be. Some very fast times in qualifying. As you heard from Martine, very impressive. We're also going to have both those heats, the men's and women's, there's hundredths of a second separating them. So Aaron Gate, he will be taking on Josh Scott of Canterbury, and Kirsty James will be taking on Jamie Nelson. It's going to be a real battle over the next 4 days. All the action will be coming to you live on Sky Sport Next. I'm going to head over to the commentary box. Graham Hunn is in position. He'll start introducing the riders, and it'll be coming up onto the track.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first evening of racing at the Vantage Windows and Doors National Elite and Under-19 Track Championships. You'll see just coming out onto the track now is Prudence Fowler from Waikato Bay of Plenty. So these events are the time trial events, the 500 metres for women, 1,000 metres for men, traditionally known as the blue ribbon events in cycling. Pure power and speed. In this event, you'll see generally 2 riders on the track, one on each side racing each other. For this we have just 1 rider Prue in the first heat. The second heat will be Harriet Rouse and Kayla Nelson. So as I said, a power and strength event. Prue will receive the countdown, and as the gate releases, she will explode out of that with all the strength and power that she does have. A really exciting way to start the first evening of the championships. So big evening coming up, Del.
It is, Graham, and thanks very much for joining us in commentary. Of course, the under-19 riders, something that's very close to your heart as athlete development lead here at Cycling New Zealand. What are you particularly looking for from the athletes in this 500-metre time trial?
The 500 time trial is really interesting for all athletes. Obviously, the sprint-based athletes are really chasing this. It's their bread and butter event. But for the endurance riders, such as Prue here on the track at the moment, it's an event that really shows their power, especially as we look forward to some of the track endurance events like the Team's Pursuit. So it's really interesting to have a look at the endurance riders in here and just to see what they're capable of. And across the week you look at other events, the individual pursuit, the Omnium, the scratch and points races, and you get a really good sense of where these athletes are at.
So we've had a pretty good track record the last few years at the Junior World Championships. You'll be looking again to select some riders for the teams coming up for, I think, the World Championships where are they this year?
They're in Cairo.
Cairo, that's right.
It's going to be a pretty interesting and exciting venture for them. Yeah, Junior Worlds is really important development aspect for our athletes. It's a really good place for us to test ourselves against the world. We don't have a lot of the opportunities that the Europeans do down here. We don't have European Championships and a number of competitions that they have. So Junior Worlds has become important for us. The most important thing really is to ensure that we're developing quality athletes for our high performance program, and we have done a pretty good job of that over the last 15 or so years, and even historically further back than that. So yeah, we're looking at the talent that we believe is ready to go and take the world on. It's a pretty tough gig, World Champs. So yeah, we're just looking for the athletes that show the capabilities for that and can make the most of that development opportunity.
So just for the audience in the grandstand and those at home, we've got dual broadcast. We're going live stadium commentary as well. So from time to time, the odd thing may not line up, but we'll do our best to keep you informed with everything that's happening on screen. And right now you've seen a problem just with the setting of the start gate. So the riders' bikes are locked into that start gate. There's a hydraulic brake that clamps the wheel in. The seat part's held with the little V bracket, and the riders as the countdown goes, 3, 2, 1. It's not to 1 to 0 that brake releases, and the riders can get underway. So we often see a mistiming. They go a little bit early and the brake holds them back, or they tow the gate a little bit down the track. So getting the timing, getting a clean start, very important in any of the track time trial events.
So it looks like Harriet's just waiting on some work there, maybe a reset of the timing system.
So Harriet Rose in the front straight, Kylie Nelson in the back straight. These two riders, Graham, choosing to ride the traditional sprint bars, not having the ski bars on the front of the bike.
Yeah, over 500 metres, 2 laps and 30, maybe 40 seconds for these time trials for the under-19 women. The time that you have actually on the aero bars is quite small, and the transition from moving from the start position onto the aero bars can lose you just a fraction of a second. So the focus is just to stay in that position, keep as zero as you can, and just full gas to the finish line.
Emma Cumming of a time she posted in 2016 in Switzerland. She rode 34.934. Of course, the world record is 33.922. Sophie Frederick has the world record, of course, now at the World Cup. So the New Zealand record time, Emma Cumming of Southland, 35.197.
So Harriet's time, 40.193. That's a good start time for Harriet. So interesting as we watch the starts, you'll see the start seconds on the timing board, and just watch and see how smoothly as it counts down to 0 that the riders release themselves from the gate and move out into the start. You'll see the very experienced athletes later on in the program are able to time that really effectively and almost explode out of the gate. Obviously, there's some world-class starters in New Zealand in those power events, such as Ethan Mitchell. It's definitely an art. The gate starts getting the timing right, a fraction of a second either way, and you either drag the gate a wee bit or you fall out of the gate. It's definitely not what you want. So, heat 3, Briley Scott of Canterbury, Coach Terry Jai just walking down to call her lap time, and in the back straight will be Jennifer Brown from Southland.
Great to see Terry Jai back at these championships. Of course, gave everyone a scare. He was telling me big operation, big scar on his leg. They take the lung out, take the heart, do all the white rewiring and get him programmed. So he hopes to have a full clearance on the 6th of February. Terry Jai, former national coach, does a great job down there in Canterbury with the riders.
Yeah, Canterbury has a really strong program, strong group of coaches, really strong supportive committees that arrange development programs, competition programs, make sure that the young athletes are able to come to national championships and really put their best foot forward. And it's been really encouraging what we're seeing, working alongside the Performance Hub in Canterbury. We're able to really make some progress with some of these young riders, and we'll see later on in the program, we'll see a couple of very, very fast riders from Canterbury. And when you consider the facilities they have there, and nothing like the facilities we're seeing this evening and in Invercargill, what they're able to produce is very encouraging.
So both riders underway safely in the 500-metre time trial. It's a tough event. You've got to get a great start, but you've got to be able to carry on and finish it off. It's always good to have a look at the half-lap times and later on compare them with what you'll see in the team sprint, the sprint, and the kilometre time trial tonight. Looking forward to the kilo, an event we don't see at the Olympic Games anymore, but it's still at the World Championships. That'll be coming later on in the program. And Zach Williams, as I mentioned in the build-up to the show, the only sprinter really taken on the endurance riders. As we see the time,
39.3. Fastest time today. Good ride from Jenny. In my experience in time trials, and it wasn't a natural at these, was that it didn't matter whether it was 500 metres or 1,000 metres, you were good for about 80 or 90% of the ride, and the rest of it wasn't pleasant. So these really test your physiology, and tough events to get through. They take a wee while to get over.
So really important for the riders too in this type of event to have their warm-up dialed in, get everything right. But Graham, you mentioned the facilities in Canterbury. It always astounds me at what they can produce with a track that was built for the 1974 Commonwealth Games and what the city's been through, and they turn up year in, year out at the national championships. I'd hate to think what they could produce if they had a facility like Southland or what we have here in Cambridge, because they just do exceed above and beyond, I guess, for what they have.
I think the strength of the region is the history. If we go back to our racing time, I guess there was some very, very excellent riders in there, Olympians, Commonwealth Games riders, national champions, internationals, professionals. So they've always had a strong culture of cycling, and and that passion for the sport has stayed with the current group of coaches down there, and it's been instilled in the young talent that we're seeing up here this evening and through the next of the week. So I think it's we don't have to have the best facilities in the world. We just need passion, great people, and great and motivated people, and the athletes. The athletes can come out from anywhere to do anything if provided the opportunity.
Oh, it's correct, isn't it? It's often used as an excuse we haven't got the facilities, but if you go back in time, I look at Karia, the track riders they produced, the closest track was quite a way away.
Exactly. So I think facilities are definitely helpful. They've helped us hone our world-class capability, but there's a lot of work we can do on some of our great outdoor tracks. They're still great facilities that we have spread throughout the country, and they're great places for starting talent. We see Maya 38.4, Riley taking the lead 37.290. It's an excellent ride from Riley. Riley, an endurance rider, the Oceania Omnium champion for under-19 women. So it's a good start from here.
Yes, and almost 49 just over 48 kilometres an hour average speed from a standing start. It's good, as Graham was saying, endurance athletes. You see a lot of endurance athletes take on the sprint events because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how long the bike race is, you still got to have a bit of a kick at the end. So it's good to test yourself against the sprinters in these short events. Our next two riders coming to the track, Tyler Green from Southland, Aaron Downey from Canterbury. So they should get a little bit quicker as we get into this is the 5th of 6 heats. They've seen the time posted, so they know what to do. Sid Cummin, the Southland coach.
So this should be a very competitive ride between these two. Aaron, definitely more of an endurance athlete. Tyler, more of a sprinter. Taking out she was the 2019 Oceania Kieran champion. So a little bit more. A lot of the time in these short events comes from how effective your start is and how smoothly and quickly you can get up to speed. So timing out of the gate obviously sets you up for that. And if we watch the riders come out of the gate, just setting up and exploding out of the gate now, so good start from Tyler. You'll see the bike very rigid, very controlled, and as she goes through the centre of the corner, that's just starting to move the bike and just really starting to wring the speed out of it. We see Erin doing the same thing down the back straight.
Yeah, very good start by Green, wasn't it? She got out, like you mentioned, Graham, snapped out of the blocks, nice and tidy and tight on the bike. So they come through. She still has the advantage, 21.355, 0.04 of a second in it.
So it'll be really interesting to see how Erin can come back in this. But we can see that the time it takes, the time you make up at the start is hard to catch up towards the end. So, Tyler did a really good job there. And so Erin.
It's on the scoreboard, a 37.412. We'll wait that. There it goes. It comes up on the screen. The second fastest time with 2 riders to go. Jenna Borthwick, Michaela Grant, both of Canterbury, will be the next riders to start this under-19 women's 500 metre time trial.
Both of these athletes, first year under-19s. Jenna was a standout under-17 rider last year. Producing, world quality times in the individual pursuit and in the sprint. Definitely a rider to watch for the future, and just a great athlete that works hard, great work ethic, and under good guidance from Terry. Starting to make some great progress as an under-19 athlete. Michaela just jumping on her bike down the back straight. Hayden Rolson in the cap guiding her this evening.
So Jenna reminds me very much of a young Olivia Podmore and through the age group levels.
Of course, and I think the interesting discussion for her will be just which path she goes. Am I a sprinter or an enduro? And at the moment she's making every post a winner.
We'll wait for the countdown. You can see the riders, they just rock a little bit on the bikes. They move with the beeps that
that they will hear on the track. Of course, we don't hear them in the commentary box. Both riders really focused.
It's a big start from Jenna there. You see a lot of hip movement, resetting really quickly, getting on top of the gear very, very fast.
She goes down to complete that first half lap just with the advantage, so she has had a great start, and like Graham said earlier, it's very difficult in the last lap to make up the time you lose at the start. So she's on the aero bars. We mentioned that earlier. Some riders don't use them. She got up to speed very quickly with 1 to go, tucked in on the bars, and she is absolutely flying down the back straight. She comes around through turn 3 into turn 4. She's going to stop the clock. Will it go fastest tonight? Let's have a little bit wobbly at the end. We have a look up. She's ridden 36.580. There we go, 36.580, just under 50 kilometres an hour to take the under 19 500 metre time trial. So very, very slick ride, Graham.
Yeah, it's a very good time. And that really set up in the start phase, just getting to speed really quickly. And over 500 metres, obviously, any time you make up early on is really difficult to pull back later, sorry. I think she may have been the only rider that rode the aero bars in that, and we could see how quickly she was able to transition from the start position to the full aero position, and that's really the key. If you're not able to do that quickly, then the best thing to do is stay where you're at and just full gas.
So just up on the scoreboard in the stadium, you can see the results. There you go, Jenna Borthwick with a very good 36.5, Riley Ackroyd, Tyler Green.
So it's an excellent start from Jenna. This is a lot of the endurance athletes, especially the 500 metres, they enjoy the hit out. It sets them up for the week. You go through the warm-up process, you go through a race, it just settles the nerves a little bit, and then you just start keying off the events, off what's next. And
so Fiona Bennett's from Canterbury, back on the track after a big break, Graham. She 14 years ago rode the Nationals as an under 19-year-old, and this is her first elite Nationals. So you can see a little bit nervous looking at the clock, the countdown, just getting ready.
I'm sure it was a completely different facility that she raced on at her last National Championships. But it's great to see you back. I'm sure while she looks a little nervous there, I'm sure she's really looking forward to the opportunity.
Just looks around, maybe a little bit of a hold up down on the infield. Flags down, she's ready to go. Wondering what's happening, talks to the commissaire. Wayne Selby from New Plymouth is the man with the flag.
So for her now, it'll be about resetting, just getting back into the space she needs to be to go through the start. Just getting herself calm and ready. She'll be watching the countdown on the lap score.
Well, she was all set, wasn't she, ready to go? The clock had started, you could see her focused on, and then obviously something wasn't ready down in the infield with the timing system.
It's always interesting to see how different riders respond to some of these things happening or not happening and having their starts disrupted. So out of the gate, pretty clean start there.
So for her, it might be one of the first times on a track like this. Of course, here, 250 metres around. That's the little black line at the bottom of the track. It's the shortest way around the track. The bankings, 44 degrees.
She's definitely making a good fist of this and coming in with just under a lap to go now.
Yeah, 22 opening laps, so she's going to set a reasonable standard for everyone else to follow. Great to have her back. It must be so difficult coming back into the sport 14 years after you last rode as an under 19-year-old. 39.4,
yeah,
39.432, 45.6 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, that's a good start for her. She'll be happy with that, I'm sure. And now she's able to set a sight for her second time she races this event sometime in the future. The new benchmark.
So in the front straight, we have Rihanna Dunn from Auckland. Paul Leach in the blue shirt, the coach for the Auckland team down here.
Paul works a lot with our developing athletes in Auckland, also through the schools program as a coach at Barradine. So there's a lot of our young talent has been guided in the first instance by the likes of Paul.
Gerten Venter is the rider in the back straight, just not on our start sheet up in the commentary position. So Rihanna Dunn underway, 500 metre time trial in front of her, 2 laps of this 250 metre track.
Both riding pretty good lines. Can be pretty hard holding the back line when you're trying to wring everything out that you have in your legs. So both riding fairly controlled races on the track at the moment and trying to ensure they ride 500 metres and not 510.
It's pretty close as well, not much between the two riders. They come down to the finish line. It's going to be a win for the home straight. Dunn from Auckland. New best time, 37.797. 47 kilometres an hour. Not a big field, Graham, in this elite women's 500 metre time trial. I thought we might have seen a few more.
The good thing about this is we're seeing a couple of young riders in here that have, with junior world experience in recent years. Sian Fulton, Sophie Lee Bloxham. So it looks like Sophie's just coming on the track on this side, and in the back straight will be Nicole Marshall. So we're seeing some young riders that are putting themselves on the start line, and I'm sure that they'll be looking forward to setting a standard that they can start working towards and looking at the possibilities of being looked at for the HP program in the future. So, you know, good opportunity for our developing riders.
Yeah, definitely. I would have liked to have seen more of them lining up, just testing themselves against the best, because Olivia Podmore will be coming up later on. She no doubt starts as the favourite for this event, but really interesting to see, particularly how Sian Fulton, she's been showing great improvement. See how she goes.
This Sophie Lee here was the starter of the team sprint at Junior Worlds 2 years ago, with Sian Fulton riding in the second position. So Sophie's a really efficient starter. You see there, very, very clean start, hugging the black line.
Very quick out of the blocks. Let's see what she goes through the first half lap in. 12.7, so she's not mucking around. She'll come around. It's a great start. She's still out of the seat, just sat down as she went through between turn 3 and 4. Gets encouraged by Sig Cummin. It's a 28.95 opening lap. A very good time. So as Graham mentioned, the starter. So usually her job would be done in the team sprint. So she's got to now carry on and try and bring it home into the last 75 metres. Comes around out of turn 4. What's she going to stop the clock? Sig Cummin cheers her on all the way. It's a 37.197.
There's a very good ride. Nicole Marshall's this young sprinter that's been around for a while. I think this is her second year under 23 or second year in elite. She's a strong rider that will generally get faster towards the end of the 500 metres. So it's a good ride from Sophie. So we have in the Tasman kit in the front straight, Sian Fulton, originally from Nelson, now training and racing in Cambridge. And on the back straight, looks like Jamie King. So
Looks
two riders
like,
that train together most days. Great friends off the bike, but I'm sure that will be great rivalry for the next 30 odd seconds, and a little bit of banter at the end of it, I'm sure. With Jason Craig, an ex-New Zealand sprinter, just giving Sian some last-minute instructions.
he's looking like he's in good form too, isn't he, Jason Craig?
He is very experienced young sprinter, and doing a lot of work in Nelson to ensure that the new facility there, the new 333 metre velodrome they have down there is being used as a development tool for the young people in Nelson. So again, it's key people in those provincial areas that make sure that we've got space for young talent. So Sian very efficient out of the gate.
Yeah, fast, snappy, got out of the blocks quickly. So this is going to be a great battle of Fulton, like with the best start so far. So down the back straight she goes, out of the seat. Let's see what she goes through the first half. And it's the fastest with a 12.5, 12.565. So she got out very fast. Sian Fulton being cheered on by everybody in the crowd here. They know this could be a very good ride from Sian Fulton. Jamie King's fighting hard into the home straight. Fulton goes down the back. What a start by her. It's given her the advantage. As Graham mentioned earlier, it's hard to pull it back if you don't get a great start. Sian Fulton comes down. There we go. 35.132.
That's a good time. 35.132, fastest time. So it'll be really interesting to see where Olivia.
It's posted a good time, right? 35.132. If we look at the New Zealand record, of course, it's held by Natasha Hansen at 34.209. Time she did at the Elite Track Championships here in, I think it was 2016.
It looks like Olivia must be a late scratching. We're moving to the under 19 men 1,000 metre time trial. So we should have on the start for Heat 1, Michael Richmond from West Coast North Island.
Let's just bring you confirming the results. Sian Fulton from Jamie King, Sophie Lee Bloxham, Nicole Marshall, Rhiannon Dunn, Green Inventor Fiona Bennett, 35.132, Fulton's winning time in the 500 metre time trial.
It's an excellent ride from Sian, and I'm sure she'll be happy with that. She's, again, a young rider that's looking to progress as far as she can in the sport. Up here, looking at the training and racing opportunities open to her here, and hoping to one day be alongside our HP athletes.
Yeah, she's a rider, Graham, that's really impressed me since she's moved up. On the great start she had down in Nelson. She works hard, she gets on with it, doesn't complain. Good to see her get her first elite title on the track.
Exactly, yeah. She'll be very happy about that. I'm sure the parents will be as well. Big investment for the family to provide the opportunities for Sian to race and compete over the last few years at Junior World Championships and ready yourself for this opportunity. The big thing for the young athletes is they look to progress towards the a high performance system or international events as an elite athlete is the ability to stay focused and work hard, because it does take time. And you will be in a space where you work hard every day, and often you don't see the real gains for that. So when the opportunities arise in the future, you need to be ready for them. And Sian's making sure that she's putting herself in that position. Well done.
This is a really good quality field in the under 19 men's 1,000 metre time trial, or the kilo as it likes to be called. Kao Lart will be the last rider, certainly one of the fast men, but if you look who's there, Max Williams, Matthew Owensworth, Navarra Brotherston, Hamish Coltman, Ewan Cousins. It's not going to be an easy one to win this one, Graham.
No, and I think the fastest times will be quite impressive. I think the winning time will be somewhere in 1:03. We have got a group of young young sprinters that are working quite hard at the moment. And talking with Renee Wolf, the HP sprint coach, the other day, and he's quite excited by the talent that's coming his way. Obviously a year or two away yet, but the work that they're doing now, the development, the racing, just learning how to compete and race hard against each other will benefit them in the end. And again, a lot of our endurance athletes are here. This will be exciting.
The all-comers record, just reminding everybody of the fastest records for the under-19 men's 1,000-metre time trial. The New Zealand Championship record, Jackson Ogle with 102.411. He did that in 2017 in Invercargill. Bradley Knipe holds the New Zealand record, so that's anywhere in the world, Argyle in Switzerland, where he rode a 101.897, and of course the very fast Australian, the world record holder, and the all-comers New Zealand record holder with a 101.900 is Tom Cornish from Australia. So, be interesting to see. Hano says it's a 103 tonight. Can they get close to that New Zealand Championship record of 102.411 held by Jackson Ogle, who is now a very important part of the New Zealand paracycling program?
He is, and starting to make some really good progress as well. Jackson, of course, a bronze medalist in the individual time trial at Junior World Championships in 2017. Very, very strong rider.
Michael Richmond, one of those riders from the West Coast North Island out of Palmerston North, rides everything and gives it his best. You see him riding on the road, doesn't mind giving the time trial, road or track a go, bunch racing, just puts his all into it. And it wasn't that many years ago, 107 would have won you this title.
Exactly. So 107.4, I think that'll be probably the fastest time for Michael, a PB for him. So you'll expect to see Michael pop up in all of the races during the weekend. He's one of these young guys that will never die wondering. He'll be amongst the racing, the Omnium, scratch points. He'll give it his best shot and everything. Great to see.
Yeah, like so many of the young riders, Graham, they've really benefited from the track program, the New Zealand Track Series that's been run, where they just get thrown into races and they race morning and night and really get pushed to their limits and really enhance their skills riding Madisons and bunch races, points races. So, Michael has really benefited from those series. Here we have Max Williams starting in it's Peter Fish in the front straight, Ethan Titheridge in the back straight.
Two riders from Mid-South Canterbury. So that's Ashburton Timaru.
So Ethan Titheridge, he's done well in the younger age group. Mid-South Canterbury, another region. Of course, some great riders coming out of there. One of them you mentioned earlier, Hayden Ralston.
So these are young riders as well, just stepping into the under-19 ranks. So again, riders that are racing week in, week out on small, a lot flatter concrete and asphalt tracks. So they spend a bit of time travelling to Invercargill and here for competitions to hone their craft.
So a big step up, isn't it, from the under-17s where they've been riding the 500-metre time trial into the under-19s where you have to do an extra couple of laps, the kilometre, but you start to find out where you might be heading, maybe in your future career, whether you've got that real speed and you're going to be a sprinter, or you might be looking to be more of an endurance rider. Though something that's hard to decide, isn't it, Graham? We saw Elise Andrews very fast as a sprinter, then go to the endurance. She's world individual pursuit champion as a junior. Now she's back into the sprint program.
Yeah, that's right. The way that the endurance events are going now, the riders or the events are becoming so fast. The men's individual pursuit, team's pursuit is world record is 3:58. So that's roughly 65 kilometres an hour. So the physiology you need to be able to ride that fast really requires the kind of physiology to ride good kilos as well. So that's why we're seeing a lot of our endurance athletes. So 106.6 for Peter Fish, currently in first place. Third for Ethan Tithridge in 107.436.
Peter Fish, that's a good ride for the young man from Mid-South Canterbury.
It is very, very encouraging. So yes, the the strength and power required for the endurance events now is such that the kilometre time trial becomes more important. Well, it's a more important indicator, and it's a tool that the coaches look at quite often just to see how riders are transitioning. The men's team's pursuit riders will be circulating at 13.8, 13.9 seconds a lap. For the woman riding 4:10, the power requirements of those events has changed quite significantly. So we do see more riders, more endurance riders in these time trials.
Zooming in there, Joshua Van Hennigan from Canterbury in the front straight. John T. Harris, also of Canterbury, rides in the back straight. So Harris has the white helmet as the camera zooms in on him. In the back straight, and Josh in the front straight with the black helmet. Both riders with the aero bars on. We'll see more of that now that we're into the 1,000-metre time trial. Double disc wheels standard on the bikes. Both riders away clean. False start in the back straight. The wheels pulled, so that means it's gone hard up against the frame. And the flag hasn't been held up for the rider in the front straight, so I think he is going to keep going for his time.
He will, and Jonty will receive a start a little later in the program. The commissaires will just check and make sure that it's a legitimate failure. And then he'll proceed to a start a little later. So Josh is making the most of this as he completes 2 laps, 35 seconds for 500 metres. It's a good solid start for him. So you see Jonty's just come off the track with two quite different riders. Josh is very tall, much slimmer endurance athlete. Jonty's much smaller frame. So it's obviously a sport for everyone.
Yeah, one of the great things about cycling, all shapes and sizes, take to the track and give it a go, and you never know what you might be good at. There we go, 1:07.034. Second fastest time of the evening so far. Of course, early evening, it's only 4:39. And if you're in the stand and you know people around the country, of course, tell them we are streaming live thanks to Sky Sport Next. You can find the link on the Cycling New Zealand page, and a big weekend for the Cycling New Zealand events team with 4 big events on around the country. Of course, the Vantage Windows and Doors National Elite Under-19 and Para Track Championships here in Cambridge, the Gravel and Tar on Saturday in Palmerston North, the UCI 2.1 road race, and the Oceania Mountain Bike Championships down there in Dunedin on Saturday, and the National Championships on Sunday. So if you're in those regions, do get along, especially if you're in Dunedin, get along and see the mountain bike, as the downhill is something else. Of course, if you're in the Waikato, Auckland area, come down and see some of the riders compete on the track, some of the rock stars of the sport, those that were named in the team last week for the World Championships. Most of them will be in action throughout the 4 days of racing. If you can't get down each night, we will be live on Sky Sport Next.
So here we have two Southland riders on the track at the moment. Jacob Willis and Quinn Naylor.
So Jacob Willis in the front straight with the black helmet. Quinn Naylor in the back straight with the white helmet on. Dale Hollows is the man standing on the gate. Of course, Sprocket, as he's affectionately known, been around cycling a long time and is been the head mechanic for Cycling New Zealand on so many occasions.
So Jacob just getting quite a good start, quite efficient start there, just ramping up the speed down the back straight a bit. We get into the sequence at about the 100-metre mark, so the 100-metre line on the track is the part white line near the Gallagher at turn 3.
So both riders really impressive, riding good line, staying nice and low, particularly in the banking on the track. It's a little bit daunting when you see the pads out. You ride around in training, they're not there, so they put them up from the start straight all the way around the turns to, as you come out of turn 2, they sort of ease away. That's so you can't take a shortcut on the big wide blue part of the track. It's the Côte d'Azur, it's called, and then the big grey piece is the apron. So if you can ride around on the blue, it's a little bit shorter. So the pads come out, so you can't take any shortcuts in the time trial. But likewise, as Graham mentioned earlier, if you start heading up the track and you ride the blue line around where you've covered, 1,020 odd metres, and you want to try and get it as short a distance around the track as possible. Both riders clocking a 108. There we go, comes up on the board. Jacob Willis 108.424, Quinn Naylor 108.847.
It was interesting watching those two riders, the lines they were following on the tracks. The riders going from track to track will always have to transition. We think that it's a 250 metre track. The start and finish line are all in the same place, but pretty much every 250 metre track in the world is a slightly different shape. And the track in Invercargill has a different shaped corners, slightly longer straights, so it takes a little while for the riders to find their way around the track and just to get comfortable with the line. So when you spend a lot of time training on one track and you move to the next, if you don't consciously spend a little bit of time getting your head around that, then it can cause you some wee problems on race day.
Yeah, well, coming up, the next round of the UCI Track World Cup in Canada, we'll see a number of people struggle because the track's a little bit different in shape, and you'll often see teams, particularly in the teams at high speed, going into the banking and just drifting up the track a little bit. So like Graham said, not all tracks are built equal. Some tracks suit some riders a little bit better than others.
So on the front straight at the moment from Canterbury is Michael Adu, and in the back straight Ewan Cousins from West Coast North Island.
Well, Ewan Cousins, he'll be expecting a good result here. And when this come up through the program in Palmerston North, very well run program down there. It's out of the start gates pretty well. Both riders do actually. Hamish Ferguson is on the apron for the Canterbury rider.
So again, a couple of young riders just making their way in the under-19 ranks. Ewan's a rider you'll see through the week as well, who likes to throw himself in full gas into every race he rides. So very combative young rider.
19 opening lap for Cousins. That's a good start.
That's a very good lap.
Now, can he finish it off? What can he do? Now it starts to hurt. 750 metres into the 1,000 metre time trial. This is the under-19 men's, the Vantage National Track Championships.
And over the 1,000 metres, everything you do or don't do in the first lap will come back to help you or otherwise in the last lap.
So he gets the bell, he goes through 50.514. He's tracking nicely, but that start, as Graham said, it can really start to hurt. Mouth's wide open. Shoulders are still pretty smooth on the bike. The legs are starting to buckle up a little bit. He goes down to the finish line. It won't come quick enough for him. There we go. It's 107.587. And Ewan Cousins, 105.832, did fade. So
107.832, yeah.
107.587 for his row. He came back well, so the difference, contrast in styles there, the super fast start versus the more controlled start and the stronger finish.
Indeed, and especially if you are more of an endurance athlete, then if you manage to start well, you should be able to finish quite strongly. But again, if you cock the start, then the last half lap will be a pretty unpleasant experience.
So keen to get underway. Oliver Grave, he's in the back straight from Auckland, and Hamish Coltman. Really interested to see what Hamish can do. He's a very good young rider.
And just in recent times, Hamish has begun focusing much more on sprint competitions than I guess the all-rounder or the more endurance athlete that he was through the schools program, and he's showing some great signs. So working with him is Finn Cullinan, who's the assistant coach in the in the HP sprint program. So as I talked about earlier, we have a really good group of these young sprinters that are starting to focus on sprint a little bit earlier, doing some really good S&C work, starting to move well, starting to do a lot more really sprint focused training. Very focused Hamish at the moment. Gets out of the gate really well. It's a nice start.
Yeah, it's a very good start. He will be happy. He is underway in his 1,000-metre time trial. The Vantage Windows and Doors National Track Championships. This is the under-19 men's 1,000-metre time trial, or the kilometre. Graham Hunn is in commentary with me, and he's predicting a 1:03 tonight. Of course, the New Zealand record is there or thereabouts. It's actually a 1:02. So we'll see if that can go. Always good fast conditions. It's quite warm inside the velodrome.
You'll see Ollie Grave, the Auckland rider, really muscling his way through this ride. He's another rider that will give absolutely everything. And again, another young rider that's starting to put a bit more time in and is making some really good progress.
Nothing between the two riders, 0.02 of a second as they go through. Now it's starting to bite both of them. They feel it. They're digging, fighting, getting close to the line. There we go. We stopped the clock. Great ride by both riders. Oliver Grave, 1:06.510. Hamish Coltman, a 1:07.017. It's Oliver Grave with 54 kilometres an hour.
There's an excellent race between those two, and quite contrasting styles as well. As I said earlier, Ollie, really muscling his way through that ride, and it's one of his strengths. Is he's a really strong athlete that'll work really hard in a race for you. So Oliver's a second-year under-19 athlete, and Hamish is a first year, so a year between those two, or maybe could be more. Could be closer to 2 years.
So starting in the front straight, Ryan McLeod from Canterbury. In the back from Southland, Navarra Brotherston.
So Ryan's young rider that raced Oceania Championships last year, the 2020 Oceania Championships very late last year. He's a first year under-19 athlete. He's very, very smart, or becoming a very, very smart athlete, and again, another one of these young athletes who works really hard. So we'll be interested to see just the style he takes. I suspect it'll look a lot like Ollie Grave, and again, we'll go full gas.
Well, he's so relaxed in the start blocks. Didn't really, just stayed sitting down nice and relaxed to the last few seconds. Really 3-2-1 he got up and went.
And he's moving quite nicely. Navarre is just coming into turn 2 now.
So
Just about to complete the first lap. So 19.9 for Navarre. That's an excellent start.
19.9. Now you've got to keep it going, don't you? It's the next three that hurt. The Canterbury rider's got a little bit of work to do. Very casual out of the start and blocks. The man from Southland posting a good time, fastest through the 500 with a 36.41. So now he's got to really keep it going. But he's a strong rider, isn't he? He's also good in the endurance races, Brotherston.
He is. And as we saw earlier too, especially with the endurance athletes, the more controlled start will generally lead to a much more controlled and faster finish.
McLeod's come back though. He is really coming back. He is finishing very strong. McLeod from Canterbury.
So 1:04. That's an excellent time for a young endurance athlete. 1:06 for Navarre Brotherston.
Ryan McLeod controlled so casual at the start, and wow, he finished it off. What a ride over the last 500. 55.6 kilometres an hour. Goes to top spot.
So again, just a little bit of planning and thinking about how to maximise your capabilities through the 1,000 metres. really paid off for Ryan there. It's an excellent ride.
Well, I've seen the time. Matthew Owensworth, he will start in the front straight in the colours of Canterbury. Mitchell Fitzsimmons, the colours of Southland in the back straight.
This should be a great battle. So just giving last instructions to his son, Russell Owensworth, and in the back straight we see Mitch Fitzsimmons and his coach Hayden Ralston has just walked further down the track and has given his last words of encouragement.
Both coaches have been in this situation themselves many times. As Russell watches his son, as Graham said, in the starting blocks. Mitchell Fitzsimmons gets away nicely, as does Owensworth in the front straight. So both riders safely underway. Who's going to start the best and who's going to finish it off in the kilometre time trial? Under 19 men's at the Vantage Windows and Doors National Track Cycling Championships.
Well, I'm definitely ripping into this. This will be an interesting first lap. 19.4, 19.7. Those are very, very good start laps. Fitzsimmons very aero there. Just see him looking between his thumbs basically, and hoping that the shape of the track doesn't change each lap, because he's probably running on wires at the moment.
Yeah, Fitzsimmons with the fastest through the 500. So head down nice and low, trying to stay tucked in. Still with the advantage into the last lap. Fastest two riders so far throughout the series on the track. Heads down the back straight. What's he going to stop the clock in? The man from Southland.
104.1, excellent. And 105.579 for Matthew Owensworth. So first for currently in the standings, first Mitchell Fitzsimmons and third Matthew Owensworth. We're getting closer to the 103.
And still some good riders to come, some fast men.
So this event really suits Mitch Fitzsimmons. It's a very good time trial rider, very good minute power.
Zach Patterson, Max Williams, the next two riders on the track. It's the Waikato man, Patterson, in the front straight. And in the back straight, we'll have Max Williams in the orange of East Coast North Island.
The mighty orange. So again, this should be a pretty good race. I think we'll see Zach probably with a slight advantage in the first stages of this race, and Max should come back in the last quarter. So again, it'll be an interesting battle over the last 250 metres. So we can see Zach just counting down. You can see him mouthing quietly to himself, just counting them down and getting himself in the space to start so that he can throw his body forward as it releases. So you'll see people either nod their head or talk with themselves through those numbers to get themselves in time with the start. So Max has ripped into the start as well as Zach, just on the aero bars, dropping his head to get nice and aero.
So both riders a little bit slow in the opening lap. 6th and 9th position, but they will work into it. Two very strong young riders. They've got 2 more laps to pick up the pace. They go through the 500. The man from Waikato, Patterson, going nicely. Max Williams looks like he's just maybe struggling a little bit to get on top of the gear. Patterson is up to the 2nd fastest time. He's riding nicely, nice position on the bike. He's not rocking and rolling too much.
Yeah, very controlled position from Zach. Holds the bike really well. So 104.2, 105.4. So again, 2 very good rides.
Here's Zach Patterson, 104.2. He's posted it, now he just has to sit back, wait, sits in second position with 4 more riders to go in the elite and under 19. This is the under 19 men's 1,000 metre time trial. The Vantage National Track Championships, of course, also includes paracycling. We had medals decided in this morning's session in the paracycling. Very good 1,000 metre time trial by Connor Douglas. I think he rode in a 1:11 from memory.
Very, very good. So this matching, Sebastian Lip in the front straight from Canterbury, and two-time junior world champion Lawrence Pithy from Canterbury in the back straight. So Lawrence obviously not wearing his rainbow jerseys here, as he's world champion in the Omnium and the Madison, not the 1,000 metre time trial. But you will see Lawrence rip into this. He will give it absolutely everything.
Yeah, Lawrence Pithy, well, he will have a big target on his back in all the races he rides. Of course, he put in an impressive performance in Christchurch in the Vantage National Criterium Championships down there.
So the big contrasting styles here. Sebastian's one of the young riders that's really starting to push ahead in sprint events. A very, very smooth and powerful young rider. And so you'll see two really contrasting styles. You see Sebastian just generating a lot of speed very, very efficiently and smoothly, and Lawrence just absolutely rigging everything he's got out of himself. And these will be some really good times, I suspect.
So on screen, Sebastian Lip underway, great start, hips forward over the bike, trying to get everything out of it, nice and smooth, low on the track. Lawrence Pithy, as Graham mentioned, he'll rock and roll and fight his way through this, not a pure sprinter, but the speed of the man over the last lap will be impressive. So Sebastian Lip is opened well with a good start. 19.5.
Those start laps will be really encouraging because, we know for the team sprint, the elite men's team sprint, just how fast the start lap is. And we've got young juniors able to do that at the beginning of a 1,000 metre time trial at their ages. I think over the next couple of years is a lot of encouragement.
Well, Lawrence Pithy just 200ths of a second with the advantage they went through, and he's extended that a little bit. He's up into second place. He won't slow down over the last lap. Lawrence Pithy, he's starting to nod a little bit, but he is giving it everything. Comes around to the finishing straight. What's he going to be able to produce? He crosses the line. There we go. It's a 1:03.712. That is a great ride from Lawrence Pithy. World Omnium and Madison champion. He's also the Elite Criterium champion. Posts the fastest time of the night so far, so we might have to get close, Graham, to that New Zealand record to take the top spot from Lawrence Pithy.
They will, and I think what we're seeing there is the power that Lawrence has, and which is why he's such a good endurance rider, which is why he's able to dominate and win Omniums and Madisons and ride the distance. The guy is all power and all strength. So it's very encouraging. So the next ride here between Ruben Webster in the front straight from Waikato Bay of Plenty and Kai Olart from Tasman in the back straight. So
Kai Olart, he is something else, isn't he? He's a very good sprinter. I like the way he races. I like his attitude.
He's he's a very fast learner. Each time he comes here, you can see the improvement from beginning to end. So, he goes home, trains in outdoor facilities, comes back here, just absolutely loves sprinting. Really encouraging. And Ruben Webster is a classy little bike rider as well. And, a little bit like Mitch Fitzsimmons, very capable endurance. It's just a poor start there. May have tried to go a touch early.
Yeah, so Webster off the track. Kai Olart, though, he won't be sitting up and waiting. He is fully into it. The young man, the little pocket rocket, reminds me a lot of Caleb Ewan on his bikes, nice and low over the front.
So another 19.7, so it's a good start.
He's got to be able to keep it going now, doesn't he? And we know Lawrence Pithy's so strong at the back end of the kilometre time trial. He's posted the time to beat, that 103.7. So Keola, fourth fastest, 34.2 through the 500. Head down, he's starting to feel it, mouth open, the kilometre, it really hurts. Even though they're inside, you feel like you've got a headwind the whole way at the sort of speed they're riding. Gets the bell. He's fifth place, 49.255, so he's going to really have to finish it off fast in the last 125 metres. He's starting to die. Keola. This won't be what he was wanting, but he's coming home. He's hanging in there, 105.
So fifth place for Kaio, 105.282. So we still have, I think, 2 riders for a restart. If they have been allowed that restart, we'll just double check. So it looks like Johnny Harris is in the back straight with just sitting down in the seats there ready for his start. And obviously Ruben Webster just missed the start there. We'll have a restart. He may well come out now and race Jonty. Looks like that's going to happen.
So a little bit lucky, unlike some sports, a false start, you're eliminated. I know swimming's ruthless. If you actually move on the starting blocks, you're gone. You don't have to get into the pool, you just have to move. It used to be like that, didn't it? If it wasn't a mechanical, you weren't allowed a restart.
For sure, and you'd have the commissaires pouring over your bike to make sure that the breakage or the mechanical was illegitimate. So we see around the track, just going to put some of the pads back out. So you see the pads just down near the top of the Côte d'Azur. So that's just to make sure that the riders don't run off the track significantly and gain some advantage from that. So you'll see also in the straights just a section where there are no pads. It's basically a safety exit point so the riders can get off the track without hitting the pads. The pads are reasonably soft foam, so if you hit them, generally they won't do. So Jonty just setting himself, and the gate looks like the riders will start individually in their original start position.
This time, Jonty Harris away safely as coach Hayden Ralston looks on. As he goes what's known as turn 3, but it's turn 1 for him in this 1,000-metre time trial. He comes down the home straight. He will finish in the back straight. He knows the time to beat his Canterbury teammate, Lawrence Pithy. Drifted high, that's a little bit costly when the sport, it's decided in hundredths of a second. You drift wide on the banking like that, you've covered another half a metre that you don't really need to.
And I think that's where you come from, the outdoor facility at Denton Park, which is considerably different shape and size. You come here, it just does take some time to really find your way around the track. These tracks are obviously much smoother than some of those concrete and asphalt facilities. You just see them there just drifting up a little wee bit. But still giving it absolutely everything.
He stops the clock with a 109.418. Almost 52 kilometres an hour, so it gives you an idea of just how fast these riders are going.
So we just have Ruben Webster coming back onto the track in the home with the front straight. Jonty's just winding down from his race effort.
So watch Jonty come off onto the apron, and we will see Ruben Webster coming up. He's had that false start, so he's got to reset himself. Coach Tim Carswell looking on, just giving him last-minute instructions.
So again, we see some quite different perfectly shaped athletes. Ruben, very tall and slim. Very produces a lot of power very smoothly. The last chance to move Lawrence from the top of the standings. So you can just see Ruben just watching and listening to the sounds, readying himself, and really smoothly out of the gate that time. Much better start. Very smooth, just holding his position on the black line. So second through the first 125 split.
So Ruben Webster, he will be getting plenty of encouragement from the crowd here. Down the back straight, he's travelling nicely. So he's in top spot at the moment. So now he's just got to keep it going, hold everything together. Low over the front of the bike. Caddo's Ruben Webster, he should know the lines around this track pretty well. He's probably worn a groove in them in training. Cheer him on if you want to bring him home. He's chasing that time of Lawrence Pithy. Ruben Webster gives a little kick on the seat, moves back in the saddle. Head down the back straight.
You just see him just slowing up a little bit as he comes into this lap here. It looks like to get the timing stop there. I'm sure they'll be pouring over the figures on the timing system. We'll have those up as soon as we can for you.
So Ruben Webster, he was in the top spot, I think, to probably the last 100 metres on the track. We'll wait and see when the results come up. So that completes the under-19 men's 1,000-metre time trial. The next event on the program will be the elite men's 1,000-metre time trial. And of course, still to come tonight, the individual pursuit finals. We saw some great rides. This is in this morning's session with both top qualifiers going through in 4:16. Josh Scott producing a 3-second personal best.
So we have on the track at the moment, looks like it's Dylan Day. Yes, those individual pursuits will be really interesting later on this evening. It's interesting how close both races will be, the men's and women's races for the gold medal. Just how close the two riders were in each grade.
So elite men on 1,000-metre time trial. There we go, there's the results on the screen in the stadium. We'll get them up. There, Lawrence Pithy, 103.712 from Mitchell Fitzsimmons, Zach Patterson, Ryan McLeod, Ruben Webster in 5th, Ko La 6th, Max Williams 7th, Sebastian Lip in 8th. So Graham Hunt said it would be a 103.712. He was right on the money. So he'll get $1.20 back at the TAB.
So yes, Dylan Day just readying himself. So again, we have a field stacked with the HP men's endurance athletes. Aaron Gate, Regan Goff, Jordan Kirby, Corbin Strong, Campbell Stewart, Nick Kurgazoo. So it'll be really interesting to see how they go against the likes of Zach Williams and some of these young aspiring sprinters such as Dylan here.
Will Aaron Gate ride this and then back it up in the individual pursuit? We'll see. That's still to come. We've got Dylan Day, Canterbury getting set. This is the elite men's 1,000-metre time trial, the kilo. He gets, he slips out of the start block, so he has to keep going. Wasn't what he was looking for. Didn't pull the wheel. The bike kept moving. So Costly little error at the start for the Canterbury man, Dylan Day. How can he recover?
Looks like he's on to task pretty well there. It's a good recovery. We'll see what the opening lap looks like. A little slow, obviously, but yeah, good recovery. You haven't got much choice. You just put your head down and get back on task.
Yep, and 4 laps of the track, so you've got plenty of time to think about it. If you don't die, also for some of these riders too, coming from the outdoor track to the indoor track, judging what gear to ride in the kilometre time trial can always be a little bit hard. So make some noise for the riders in the kilometre time trial. It's a lonely place out there on the track. Vantage Windows and Doors National Track Championships here in Cambridge over the next 4 days. It's all the coverage. You'll be able to follow the morning's sessions, the results online, but each night you'll be able to tune in to Sky Sport Next and see what's going on if you can't get down to the velodrome. If you can't beat watching a live cycling. Coming up after the 1,000 metre time trial, we will have the under-19 men's and women's scratch race. Dylan Day, well, he did recover, but that won't be the time he was looking for, a 109.352, almost 52 kilometres an hour. He'll be back in the sprints later on in the championship.
So quite an impact from a start era. Probably just trying to go a little bit early, being held up by the gate, and it just forces you off your line. The back wheel will skip a little bit. So again, you know, for the athletes that aren't training consistently in these facilities with the gates and timing system, it can take a little while to get that countdown absolutely nailed. So in the back straight, we'll have Russell Pepperell, and in the front straight, we have Daniel Bridgewater. So Daniel's just a recent convert to cycling with a rowing pedigree.
Yeah, Russell Pepperell from Wellington, and they run a great program down there, the Speed League. Probably one of the hardest velodromes in the country to ride, just not only the wind conditions, the weather conditions, the surface of the Haitaitai velodrome. So I think the last big meeting held there was the New Zealand Games in 1981. They've got the track league going the last few years in the Wellington, building a great little program down there, and they'll be tuned in watching Russell. He often comes up to Cambridge and trains, gets involved in any of the sprint stuff that's going on.
And they have done some work down there, resurfacing the track and just trying to improve the condition of that. You can see that, you know, for the riders, the extra G-forces in the corners, just the experience of being able to hold that down on the black, just takes a little bit of time.
Daniel Bridgewater's going nicely, 42.3, and he's not slowing down. He puts his head down. He'll have a big engine, as Graham said, coming from the Rowan background. It's just getting the finesse and everything that's required, transitioning to the bike. Of course, coming up later on tonight in the 4,000 metre individual pursuit, the New Zealand record is held by none other than Hamish Bond. There we go, 104.932. So that's a good ride.
He'll be very happy with that. I think if he rode another one tomorrow, I'm sure he would find how he could improve that time a little bit as well. So each ride he puts under his belt will be a real marked improvement. And I think, you know, events like the time trial and individual pursuit really suit somebody with that rowing background. It's very similar. The gun goes, you get up to race speed and you stay there for as long as you can. So we do have Aaron Gate coming out onto the start of the kilo, or the 1,000 metres time trial. So this is a very interesting warm-up before riding a 4,000 metre individual pursuit final.
Well, he's a tiger for punishment, Aaron Gate. Of course, last week he was on the roads of the Wairarapa in the New Zealand Cycle Classic with the New Zealand Professional Continental Team, Black Spoke Pro Cycling Academy. Finished second overall on the tour, won the opening stage. Brilliant individual pursuit this morning in qualifying is 4:16. You'll ride a kilometre tonight. You'll probably expect them to go around the minute mark, not too much over. and he'll be back in that 4,000 metre individual pursuit at the end of this evening's or late afternoon session. Aaron Gate.
And in the back straight we have Lachlan Robertson, now studying in Invercargill and training down there. He was a Cambridge local until about 18 months, 2 years ago. Very tall rider. So you see that really strong look of preparation as Aaron drove out of the gate there. Very big gear, just getting up to speed very smoothly. I suspect they'll be riding gears very close to their Team's Pursuit race gears, and this will be very focused around just around the training that they've been doing for the Team's Pursuit.
Well, Lachlan Robinson got off to a very good start, a little bit quicker because being on that lower gear in the start lap. Aaron Gate though winds it up, gets his head down. He'll keep building into the ride. Of course, Aaron Gate's not much he can't do on a bike. He's working with professional teams Aqua Blue and Evo Pro. Gosh, he could have won some big races if it wasn't for some of the equipment choices of those teams and key moments. Back wheels collapsing, chains coming off because of the componentry they were using. He was delighted to be with Black Spoke Pro Racing Academy, where they're using some of the very best equipment with the Pinarello bikes and the Dura-Race componentry. So Aaron Gates stops the clock, 1:04.702. So like Graham said, really big gear on the bike, and just be probably practicing that starting effort like for the Team's Pursuit. He'll come back and do it all again later on in the evening.
And with another 3 kilometres off the back of it as well, just for good measure.
Of course, his career's been guided by Simon Fennell out of Auckland, a wonderful coach, wonderful man. He's looked after Aaron Gate for many, many years.
So here we have Angus Claassen from West Coast North Island, who just before Christmas rode, I think, 10.1 for the for Flying 200. So he was just coming out of his under 19 years. So it's for an under 19 rider in New Zealand, or under 19 rider anywhere, it's a very, very good time.
On the back straight, it's a Regan Goff in the colours of East Coast North Island. Of course, a former junior world champion. He's been a world champion multiple times. Key part of the New Zealand Men's Endurance Team's Pursuit program that is heading to the World Championships. So they're on a big block of training right now, finishing off for those championships. And as we heard from Martin Barra at the top of tonight's racing, this is an important part of that preparation to benchmark where the riders are at and keep building, keep progressing. So the experience of Regan Goff up against the exuberance, the youth of Angus Carlson.
So Angus has just in reasonably recent times decided to forge a path down the sprint. He's one of those riders that was very good in endurance and sprint as a junior and under 17 athlete, and he's starting to looking all the goods actually. Quite exciting.
I like him as a sprinter. I like the young riders choosing the sprint path because you know you can always go back to the endurance later on. We've seen Christoph Olakakos, probably the most well-known of the sprinters who have crossed over. Young man just taking photos. Just ask you not to lean on over the balcony down there on turn 1, please. Regan Goff, head down almost onto the handlebars, crosses the line. It's in 56. It's tight between these two, but Regan Goff starting to come back now. He's got the big gear going. There we go. He goes 1:03.415. 1:03.415 for Regan Goff.
Which just shows you how good Lawrence Pithy's time was in the under 19 men. It was 1:03.7, I think it was. So very good ride from Lawrence. And so I'm starting to see some good rides from our endurance riders here. We saw quite different aero styles or aero positioning from Regan and Angus here. So I'm sure as Angus carries on or continues his training, those improvements in his aero position will be made. But as a young developing sprinter, just first year into under 23, So that's a great start.
So in the front straight, in the colours of West Coast North Island, it's Jordan Kirby, a former individual pursuit world champion when he was riding for Australia. Great to have him as a part of the New Zealand endurance program, Jordan Kirby. He's a hard man.
He is a very strong leader in that group as well. It's great to have his experience come across. He's managing to really encourage and help the endurance program.
Tom Sexton, the man from Southland, again part of that high performance team heading to the World Championships. This will be a good battle between the two endurance riders. Close up of Jordan Kirby. We sneaky look across the track, looking at the timing.
So Tom Sexton, bronze medalist in the scratch race at the World Championships last year.
And Kirby got a massive gear on, just cranks it out of the starting blocks. It won't be the fastest half lap in the world, but he's still cranking through pretty good in 12.2 for Sexton. Jordan Kirby, this is going to be a good, but tonight he's been asked to step it up in the kilometre. Kirby head right down in that familiar style, but Sexton's absolutely flying. 47 with a 750.
It's a very, very good ride from Tom here. Would have expected that Jordan would have come back a little more.
Go 102.76, the fastest time we've seen this evening. Tom Sexton, a 102. We're going to get closer to the 1 minute.
Very encouraging time from Tom there.
Jordan Kirby, as we look up at the clock, still a very good time, 103.916. Remember, these guys are teams pursuiters. They start in massive gears. Great signs as they build up towards the World Championships coming up in Germany at the end of the month, and they will be on Sky Sport. Of course, the coverage of the evening sessions of the Vantage Windows and Doors Elite and Under-19 National Track Championships is on Sky next. Sky Sport next over the next 4 days.
So we see on camera at the moment, Campbell Stewart. On the other side of the track will be Corbin Strong. And in the next and final heat, we'll have Nick Kurgazoo and Zach Williams. So again, two members of the track endurance team are heading off to World Championships in Berlin later in February.
Again, both riders in good form. Rode the Trust House New Zealand Cycle Classic down in the Wairarapa last week. Both made appearances on the podium.
Teammates in that race.
Corbin coming away with the Vega Motors Under-23 classification jersey. Both Campbell Stewart and Corbin Strong out of the starting blocks. Nice and smooth and stable from Campbell Stewart as he heads down the back straight, the World Omnium Champion, into time trial mode. The young man from Southland, delighted to make the World Championship team. So the better start from Campbell Stewart. It's a 21.92 opening lap. It's pretty good for the team's pursuiters. You look at the splits, nothing between the two riders as we look Corbin Strong down the back straight, Campbell Stewart down the front straight. They are both absolutely starting to fly now. Campbell Stewart really into his work.
So both of these riders made very strong transitions from the junior under-19 program into the elite system. And obviously now Campbell, world champion in the Omnium. So so it's good to see our young talent, making that progress and getting the benefits of that development.
We go a 102.053 for Campbell Stewart. Very good ride from the World Omnium Champion, showing he is pretty slick over 1,000 metres. Corbin Strong with a 103. So 102.053. Campbell Stewart, top of the leaderboard with two riders to go. Excellent ride from the World Omnium Champion. You'll see him in plenty of action throughout these Vantage National Track Championships.
And if you've seen Campbell riding in Omnium or Madison events, you'll see him put some of that power that you've just seen to great use. Very, very strong rider. Very, very smart, tactically smart rider. Able to make great decisions really quickly. Nick Kyrgyzou from Southland, another member of the track endurance squad.
Kilo Kyrgy, they call him. He'll be looking for a big one in this. Again, another rider who was on tour last week on the road at the Trust House Tour in the Wairarapa. In the back straight, Zach Williams, the sprinter, very fast kilometre rider. He'll be looking to try to put this one away. Nick Kyrgyzou, he'll have a big gear on. So it'll be interesting to see Zach Williams. You'd expect Zach to have the fastest start. The countdown is on, both riders. Kyrgyzou back out of the blocks he goes. That massive chainring on the front, using all the power he's got to get on top of the gear. Zach Williams comes out of the back straight into the home straight. Head going, teeth gritted, a man who's won the Austral Wheel Race in Australia, the longest running track race in the world. And he has had a great start, a 19, low 19s for Zach Williams in the opening lap, but Nick Kyrgyzou, he will come back. Now he's on top of the gear, the man from Southland, Nick Kyrgyzou. Zach Williams on the track, Williams with the advantage. Kyrgyzou mouth wide open, he really wants this as well, but so does Zach Williams. Zach Williams still with the advantage. Not much between the two riders, so Kyrgy starting to come back. The sprinter starting to tire a little bit. Kyrgyzou fighting hard, low over the bike. Zach Williams starting to rock and roll the shoulders a bit down the back straight. Kyrgyzou with the advantage, half a lap to go. Who can finish off in the men's kilo final? Kilo Kyrgy with a 1 minute 9:40, 59.074 kilometres an hour. The Kyrgyzou of Southland takes it from Zach Williams with a very good 101.712. Kilo Kyrgy comes around to celebrate a very good ride.
And I'm sure that Nick will be really happy to have gone under 101. Not a lot under, but enough. That's a 1:00 time is world class for endurance riders, and it's a very, very good time for any kilo rider. So that's an excellent ride. We've seen the endurance riders put out some good time numbers, and I'm sure some good power numbers as well. And the coaches will be poring over those over the next few hours. I see some very big chain rings being used there. So we see the medalists there: Nick Kyrgyzou 1:00.940. Zach Williams 1:01.712, and bronze medal to Campbell Stewart 1:02.053. Tom Sexton a 1:02.276. It's an excellent ride from Tom. Regan Goff 1:03.415. Jordan Kirby 1:03.916. Corbin Strong 1:03.979, and Angus Clarkson 1:04.500. Really good starting time trial for Angus. His first elite time trial. And I'm sure that he'll be really pleased to have nailed that time and that ride. And I guess this is benchmark for what's going to come next. So we're just getting ourselves ready for the time trial, for the individual pursuit finals. Medal presentations being set up here at the moment, but we have the individual pursuit finals coming up with Josh Scott from Canterbury riding Aaron Gate from Auckland, and in the women's final we have Kirsty James from Waikato Bay of Plenty, Southland, riding Jamie Nielsen from Waikato Bay of Plenty. So these will be both great competitions. The qualifying rides this morning were both both very close. So we're expecting to again see some really good times. I'm sure that Josh will be chasing, going under 4:15, another benchmark for him. Big 3 second or so PB this morning. And for Kirsty, whose fastest is sub 3:30 for 3,000 metres, I'm sure she'll be looking again to go closer to 3:30 than her ride this morning, and the conditions this evening look to be much better than that. Also, later on this evening, we have the under-19 women and under-19 men scratch race finals, and again some really strong field of our best under-19 talent. The under-19 women's race, we'll have. So we're just going down to Dell, ready for the medal presentations and a short interview.
So joining me on the infield, Ross Majeski. Ross, the lead coach for the Women's Endurance Program. You must have been pretty happy with the individual pursuits this morning.
Yeah, it was a nice start actually. It's always hard getting up at 9 a.m. and jumping on the bike and going as hard as you can for 3 kilometres. So yeah, we had obviously 2 world-class riders riding, and they did a solid job to start off with. And yeah.
What are you hoping from your riders throughout this championship? We talked to Marv earlier as a general perspective from the whole team, but specifically, what are you looking for from your athletes that are going to the World Champs?
I think for us, this is a really good chance to execute some processes. We are using this as a building block to the World Champs. In some ways, it's a shame we can't race all the events, and but it is for the top riders a Olympic year, and we have to be careful with the workload leading into the Worlds. But it is a really good opportunity to learn some things in a slightly lower pressure environment. So that's the main thing, yeah.
You must be pretty happy with the depth you've built where you're sitting right now. So for so many years we were competing on the world stage for that sort of 3rd to 5th place. Now we're right in the mix for the gold, silver, bronze.
Yeah, I think when the beauty about our squad is that we've got 11 girls in the squad. That's really pushed the quality of competition and training and the camaraderie up as well, and I think that's helped us to do that on the world stage. And and every time we go out and ride a competition we target, we're able to step into that zone and I guess go through those processes to kind of fight for the medals, but it's more about fighting for what we can do as a team. Yeah.
Jamie Nielsen, we spoke about her with Marv's coming back into the program. She is looking very, very good.
Yeah, it's awesome for Jamie. She's had a long time out of competing. This is actually her first, competition today. She was part of the Cambridge World Cup, but played a limited role, still building through. And today is about that, is her remembering how a competition goes again as well. So that's been exciting, and this morning shows what a class athlete she is in general.
Have you got a prediction for the individual pursuit final? It's both riders, hundredths of a second between them in qualifying this morning.
I think that would be a bit harsh to put me on the spot there, Dal, but I do think both of them are capable of stepping up a couple of seconds, and it should be a ding-dong battle. Looking forward to it.
Very good. Thanks very much, Ross, and good luck for the World Championships, and hopefully we get to catch up throughout the weekend.
Thanks, Dal. Cheers.
So we're just waiting for the presentation results to come through, and then we'll get underway with the medal ceremonies. Before we get back to the racing, we will be coming up after the medal presentations. We'll have the under-19 men's and women's scratch race straight finals. So that'll be, if you've been tuned in at home, on Sky Sport Next. A little bit different, the scratch races, as groups of riders, bunches of riders on the track, and of course the first rider across the line wins. So one of the easiest races in cycling to follow.
So as we're waiting for the medal presentations, we'll just start thinking about the scratch races coming up. So some really strong fields in both of these races. We're currently spending a lot of effort in our national track series competitions to raise the technical and tactical abilities of our riders, and we've really seen the benefits of that over the last 2 years. So this evening in the women's scratch race, the under-19 women's scratch race with a really strong field of Amy Blackmore, Georgia Cluth, Queenie McElwee and Ella Wiley of Auckland, Jenna Borthwick, Erin Downey, Michaela Grant, Harriet Rouse, Briley Scott and Charlotte Spillway from Canterbury, Riley Ackroyd, Natalie Green, Tyler Green, Jess Spencer from Southland and Holly Bliss from Waikato Bay of Plenty. So we're expecting a really combative race there and a very fierce finale into the final laps. The men's race is a full field, and we have double world champion at the head of that list, Lawrence Pithy. This event's part of the Omnium for him, so he'll look forward to just another opportunity to continue his development and just the experience that you'll have of riding this event. Navarre Brotherson, very good bunch race rider from Southland, Michael Richmond, Ben Connell, Aidan Merrick of Auckland, Michael Adu, Ryan McLeod from Canterbury, Peter Fish from Mid-South with Ethan Tithridge, Josh Miller, Jacob Willis, Ewan Cousins, Max Williams from East Coast, Piers Gatley, Oliver Grave from Auckland with Liam Regan, Jonty Harris, Matt Ainsworth, Josh Van Hannigan, Zach Patterson, Mitchell Fitzsimmons, Quinn Naylor, Finn Murphy and Morgan Borry. So really strong and deep fields there, and we expect in both of those events that they'll be really competitive. I think that there'll be short breaks, there'll be a lot of chasing and a lot of activity going on as we get to the finish. I'm sure that we'll see some late attacks with individuals or very small groups trying to steal a march on the field. So later on in the evening, we also have the individual pursuit finals. Really looking forward to those, the two gold medal rides for the men and women. And as Ross Mashevsky mentioned, he's really looking forward to seeing the final between Jamie Nielsen and Kirsty James, and it would be great to see those riders go under 3:30.
So ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for the medal presentation for the 2020 Vantage Elite and Under-19 National Track Championships. The women's Under-19 500 metre time trial. The medals will be presented by Matt Archibald representing Vantage Windows and Doors. In third place and winner of the bronze medal representing Southland, Tyler Green. In second place and winner of the silver medal, also representing Southland, Riley Ackroyd. And in first place, the winner of the gold medal and the 2020 Under-19 Women's 500 metre time trial champion, representing Canterbury, Jenna Borthwick. So ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for the place getters in the 2020 Vantage Elite and Under-19 Track National Championships 500 metre time trial. Our next presentation is for the Elite Women's 500 metre time trial. Once again, Matt will do the medal presentation. In third place and winner of the bronze medal representing Southland, Sophie Lee Bloxham. In second place, and winner of the silver medal, representing Waikato Bay Plenty, Jamie King. And in first place, a winner of the gold medal and your 2020 Elite Women's 500 metre time trial champion, representing Tasman, Sian Fulton. The riders will stand up in the middle podium, in the middle of the podium with Sian. So ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for the medal winners and your champion, Sian Fulton. Sian should also receive, sorry, no, she shouldn't. So ladies and gentlemen, the 2020 Vantage Elite and Under 19 National Track Championships, men's under 19 1,000 metre time trial. In third place, and winner of the bronze medal, representing Waikato Bay Plenty, Zach Patterson. In second place, and winner of the silver medal, representing Southland, Mitchell Fitzsimmons. And in first place, a winner of the gold medal and your 2020 Under-19 men's 1,000 metre time trial champion, representing Canterbury, Lawrence Pithy. Lawrence will also receive the John R. Holloway Memorial Challenge Cup. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for your medal winners and your champion, Lawrence Pithy. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2020 Vantage Elite Under-19 Track National Championship, Elites Men's 1,000 metre time trial. In third place, and winner of the bronze medal, representing the West Coast North Island, Campbell Stewart. In second place, and winner of the silver medal, representing Auckland, Zach Williams. And in first place, a winner of the gold medal and the 2020 Elite Men's 1,000 metre time trial champion, representing Southland, Nick Kirgizu. Kilo Kirgi will also receive the BSA Challenge Cup. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for your medal winners and your champion, Nick Kirgizu. Nick, congratulations, fantastic ride, 1 minute. After a big week last week, that was some effort.
Yeah, didn't know what to expect today. Had a big 3-week roadblock, and last week definitely took it out of me going up some hills and stuff. That's not a trackie's job, so yeah, really didn't know what to expect on the day, but yeah, pulled through, so wrapped.
Great start for these championships. What other events have you got coming up?
Yeah, got the Omnium coming up on Saturday, so Omnium and Scratch. So that'll be a big day. And then Madison on Sunday and TP potentially too. So yeah, just enjoy and have some fun.
Well done on the win tonight. Congratulations on the kilo title.
Cool, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Kirkazoo.
So now we're just setting up the track for the beginning of the finals or the bronze medal ride for the elite women's 3,000 metres individual pursuit. So in the back straight, we have Mackenzie Milne. And in the front straight, it looks like we have Nina Wollaston, also from Waikato Bay Plenty, and also one of the pilots in the para program. So again, a little like the 500 metre time trial. So just in the gates, we have the bikes locked into the gate. There is a brake, like a bike brake, that locks onto the back of, or the rear of the back disc wheel, and a bracket that goes around the seat post just behind the rider's leg. So as the countdown goes and gets to 0, the brake at the back will release and the rider will be able to move clear. So the timing of the rider is really important here from obviously the 0. They don't want to try to move clear until the lock's released. If they do, then the gate will pull. So Nina just reading herself for the start on the back straight. Mackenzie or Mickey Milne. So that just moving clear, nice clean start from Mickey in the back straight. Tim Carswell, the Grassroots Trust, Waikato Bay Plenty Regional Performance Hub coach, just calling Mickey. So their rides this morning, Mackenzie's time 3:45.523 and Nina's time 3:39.589. So Nina, obviously the much more experienced rider, as we see her on screen at the moment, down the back straight. Mackenzie, silver medalist in the Junior World Championships last year in the team's pursuit. And the year before, silver medal in the same event. So again, another one of our young riders in her first elite competition. So quite a controlled ride from Mackenzie and Nina at the moment. But Nina's just a little clear, maybe we're looking at 1.8 seconds. So very, very controlled ride from Nina at the moment. You see her body's really still, she's really comfortable on a bike, really nice aero set up, able to control or hold her body really stable and aero. No moving around. It's the moving around that makes you un-aero or increases drag. Mackenzie's a very, very strong rider. You see her now just coming into the front straight across the pursuit line.
So in the individual pursuit, it's always a really tough event. It can be a lonely place out there for these riders, so don't be frightened to make some noise, cheer them on. It's a big effort. The speed they're rolling around at, it's pretty tough. If you ever go out for a roll around on your road bike, just try and get up to that high or close towards 50 kilometres an hour and keep it going for 3 or 4 minutes. Nina Wollaston going along just on 49, about 49.8 kilometres an hour at the moment, putting in a very good ride. Of course, such an important rider in the New Zealand Paracycling program, where she's the pilot on the tandem. Of course, now getting the opportunity to ride in the individual championships. She is really getting into her work. It's got Mackenzie Milne in her sights. Nina Wollaston wants this bronze medal. First of our individual pursuit finals tonight at the Vantage Windows and Doors National Track Championships. This is the ride for the bronze medal. Nina Wollaston looking very good at the moment. Mackenzie Milne just drops the head a wee bit coming down the front straight. Wollaston eyes up, sees Her opponent in front of her has got something to focus on. Now she starts chasing it down the back straight.
This race living up to its name, the Pursuit. The Pursuited and the Pursuer. So Nina just closing in on Mackenzie and making the pass perfect place for a pass.
So the gun goes, and Nina Williston doesn't have to complete the journey. She has done the business. Well, it looks like she is going to keep going for a time. She crosses the line, 3:33.645.
That's very likely to be a personal best for Nina. The fastest times this morning with 3:32 rides by our 2 gold medal finalists, so it's an excellent ride for Nina. A great improvement from this morning.
Yeah, 3:33, she really wanted the bronze. Great performance from Nina Williston.
So now our gold medal ride just preparing themselves. So in the back straight we'll have Jamie Nielsen from Waikato Bay of Plenty. And on the front straight, just mounting her bike here, is Kirsty James, riding for Southland.
So talking to Ross just before the medal presentations, Jamie's first competition for a while, so it's good to get back. She's come back well after having some time off, of course with injury, and also having her first child. Great to see her back, and of course named in the team for the World Championships. We're at the Vantage Windows and Doors National Track Championships. It's the Elite Women's 3,000 metre individual pursuit final, the ride for the gold medal. Kirsty James, 4th in the World Individual Pursuit Championships. Jamie Nielsen holds the world's best time for the 1 hour at sea level, which he did here in Cambridge. 2 teammates, of course, be fighting for places in the team's pursuit at the World Championships. Also a ride in the individual pursuit as well. So a lot riding on this 3,000 metre individual pursuit final. Close up of James as she gets back. Underway, out of the starting blocks, both riders away safely. Big gears, Jamie on probably the slightly higher gear by the looks out of the start, or maybe just the slower starter. 3,000 metres is the journey. It'll be under the 3.5 minute mark. Of course, in qualifying, Jamie Nielsen, 3:30.016. Kirsty James also went very fast in qualifying. Sid Cummin looking after the Southland team trackside.
Both riders very experienced track riders, but very experienced individual pursuiters as well. And both riders have gone very close to medaling at World Championships. Kirsty last year was 4th place in the individual pursuit at World Championships in Poland. So I think with the improved conditions this morning, this evening, sorry, you head out this morning, I think we can expect to see a couple of very competitive and encouraging times.
So we watch both riders as they come around the pursuit, chasing each other. Right now, they're still as they started, one on each side of the track. Kirsty James with the slight advantage, 1 second at the moment, just over the 1 second. She is travelling very well, but Jamie Nielsen will just keep winding that big gear up and try and fight back into it. James, though, really wants this title. As we've mentioned, 4th in the World Championships in the individual pursuit, holds the advantage. She's travelling at over 50 kilometres an hour right now. That's the average speed from the standing start. They'll get 6. We'll look at the lap boards as they come around. I think it's 6 to go, but I haven't really been watching them. Kirsty James still with the advantage. She is looking good. Jamie Nielsen very steady, nice and low. Just keeps building into the ride.
Both riders, very good aero positions, very strong on the bike. There's no moving around, just delivering all the power they can to the pedals.
So we watch Kirsty James go down the back straight. In a good position, as Graham mentioned, nice and low. Look at the head, the relation to the hands, the head and shoulders, keeping tight. Both riders exceptionally smooth and stable on their machines, following the little black line, the shortest way around the track. 3 laps to go. Kirsty James with the advantage. She stretched it out. She's got over a couple of seconds now. The Southland rider in control of the individual pursuit final. Now if she looks up, she'll see Jamie Nielsen coming out of the back straight. Kirsty James travelling well. What sort of time can she produce? 3,000 metres is the journey. They're going around in this final, the gold medal ride in the elite women's 3,000 metre individual pursuit. Over 52 kilometres an hour now. James is absolutely flying.
It's going to be a very good time.
Jamie Nelson head down, fighting hard. So we look at the clock. As the Southland rider goes around, what will she stop it at? It's coming into the home straight. Crosses the line. A 3:21.888. So 3:21.888, 53.495 kilometres an hour for your champion, Kirsty James. Jamie Nielsen, you can see the time on the board, it's a 3:30. She'll be pretty happy with that, I'd imagine. So similar to her ride this morning. So we just want to confirm the time. If you look at that on the board, 3:21.888. If that's correct, it's just outside the world record, and of course it's a new national record. If that is the correct time on the scoreboard, we'll get that confirmed. 3:21.888. That is a brilliant ride from Kirsty James.
It was a very controlled ride. From beginning to end, she did look very, very in control of that. So we just see Hugo Jones from Canterbury this morning riding 4:20 for his 4,000 metre qualifying round, and a really big 4.5 second personal best for Hugo. It's a really good start for him. And on the back straight, we'll have Boris Clark.
So there's the times on the scoreboard. So in fact it was a 3:26.070 for Kirsty James. Still a very good ride. Jamie Nelson 3:30.66. Well, that got us excited. They must have stopped the clock a little bit early, but still a very good ride. 3:26. It's a new national record for Kirsty James. The old record 3:28. So she has taken 2 seconds off the national record. Brilliant ride.
Very, very good ride, and something that if she takes it into World Championships will be very encouraging. Outside of Chloe Dygert, who's riding around 3:20, that's very competitive internationally. So Hugo looking very, very relaxed in the start gate. I'm sure he'll be looking to improve on his PB. And by the way, he rode this morning, he looks very capable of doing that.
As I talked to his coach, Terry Jide, before the evening's racing started, and both the Canterbury riders riding personal bests, and he was confident they had some more to give tonight. So we will find out in this bronze medal ride at the Vantage Elite and Under 19 and Para National Track Cycling Championships. Boris Clark, he was also a rider that rode the New Zealand Cycle Classic, and he had a stint in the King of the Mountains jersey, rode very well down there. So both riders underway. It's 4,000 metres. It's a long way around by yourself. It's a lot of laps. So they'll come around and they'll get 14.
So Hugo very quickly into a very aero position. You see quite a contrasting positions between he and Boris. So Hugo's getting on top of his work here. Took him a little while this morning to really find his rhythm and get on his gear, but once he had that, he made every post a winner. And to take 4.5 seconds off your PB, that's
yeah, it's almost a 5-second personal best this morning, and he'll be wanting to go a little bit better. Terry Jide will be controlling from the apron down there. As I've said, outstanding Canterbury coach, Terry Jide. Great to see Boris Clark, though, making the final for the bronze medal ride. Great experience up against Hugo Jones, who's been around in the junior levels. He knows how to ride a good pursuit, and he's putting it together. He's now chasing the Waikato rider. He's got him in his sights. If he has a little sneaky look up down the back straight, he'll see the man from Waikato, Boris Clark, just in front of him. Hugo Jones going nicely. You'll have 9 to go.
so we see the pursuer in action, and having that carrot in front of you is a really strong motivator. You can really chase it. It enables you to draw just that little bit more out of yourself.
Early in the ride as well, he's got him in his sights. I'll be interested to see if he keeps going. Of course, when the gun goes, he has won the bronze medal. You don't have to keep racing. It's the individual pursuit, but the op riders, when they've got good conditions and good form, they want to post a time, chase a personal best. This is the Vantage National Track Championships, the ride for the bronze medal. Hugo Jones of Canterbury, look at him go down the back straight. Now he'll want to get around Boris Clark as quickly as he can. He's got to go the long way round on the bend, so a little bit more work to do. Ducks out, he'll kick past on the straight. Still 6 laps on the board.
Very strong position from Hugo. Very strong in the shoulders and the body, holding himself in that aero position. It's the most important thing, or the 2 things. One is to get aero, the second is to stay there. It's the moving around that's inefficient.
And now he made a very fast start. He's chasing a good time. He's chasing a new personal best. Hugo Jones at Canterbury. Terry Jide, he'll encourage him. See what the instruction is, see what the lap time is. Put it up on the board, just asking him to give a little bit more. Hard to do when you've caught your man, you've won the bronze medal, you're just chasing a time. You've got to find the motivation now to keep the pressure on the pedals and go as fast as you can. So give him plenty of encouragement. Hugo Jones of Canterbury, riding the individual pursuit. He's lapped his man, trying to post a time, chasing a new personal best.
And to his credit, Boris is holding that gap at the moment, so he'll be encouraged in chasing Hugo. So again, you know, he can pull some more out of himself.
So it'll be the bell lap for Hugo Jones. Give him plenty of encouragement. He'll be in the Hertz box right now. He'd breathe through his ears if his helmet wasn't covering them. Hugo Jones. He's coming down, he's chasing that time. Let's check his time from this morning.
This looks like it'll be around 20. Oh, he'll be really happy with that, 4:19.6. So under 4:20 will be, I'm sure, what he was aiming for. Another one of those milestones. Great day for Hugo. It'll be close to 5 seconds off his PB from early this morning. And you can see there he put everything into that.
Yeah, very good ride, Hugo Jones, as he comes around the bronze medal, the Vantage Windows and Doors National Track Championships, and a new personal best as well. Of course, Boris Clark also put in a very good ride, and I'm sure that would be very close to a personal best for him as well.
So the riders just readying themselves for the finals. As we see is coming up on the front straight here is Aaron Gate. Just completed a 1,000-metre time trial, so I'm sure he's feeling very refreshed. And in the back straight is Josh Scott, already on his bike and waiting for the signals.
So Josh Scott, he'll fancy his chances here up against Aaron Gate. A little bit fresher, didn't ride the kilometre time trial. Both riders rode 4:16. in qualifying the men's elite 4,000 metre individual pursuit gold medal ride. The flags are down, they're in the hands of the starter.
So I'm sure that Josh will be looking to go into 4:15, another milestone for him.
It's the national record in this event held by Hamish Bond. So Aaron Gate, look at the gear he's got on. Look how smooth and stable he is out of the start on that massive gear. It's really easy for the bike to wobble all over the place when you've got such a big gear on from the standing start. So Aaron Gate into his work, as is Josh Scott. Josh Scott already tucked nice and low. Both riders very good positions, 2 different body shapes and sizes. This is the men's gold medal ride, 4,000 metre individual pursuit. Both riders posted 4:16. What Simon Fennell got planned for Aaron Gate. He looks at the stopwatch, nice and relaxed on the side. Gives him a little cool. So we'll have a look through the first kilometre, see what sort of time they post for the first 4 laps. It gives us some idea how they're tracking. Both riders will be wanting, or particularly Josh Scott, to go under that 4:15 if at all possible. This is the gold medal ride, the Vantage National Track Championships, 4,000 metre individual pursuit. Elite men, Aaron Gate up against young Josh Scott from Canterbury.
Very, very tight at the moment. Very, very tight opening kilometre, 109.7. So we see Josh going up towards the red line on the straights. You'll see he takes a line out of the corners and just rides a little higher. A lot of riders will do that. It's more of a natural transition and flow out of the corners. You're not fighting the bike to hold it down onto the black line.
So as I mentioned before, the individual pursuit, as we look at Aaron Gate coming down the home straight, it's a lonely place out there. It's only one thing that it does here, and that hurts a lot. Gate, very good pedaling action, nice and flat. Across the top of the straight with his foot, beautiful on his bike. Josh Scott, he's really on top of his gear, riding a slightly smaller gear than Aaron Gate. So Aaron Gate, as Graham mentioned, has already ridden the kilometre time trial, but still nothing between these 2 riders. Both riding 4:16 in qualifying this morning. What can they back up with tonight? Conditions at the track a little bit faster. It's always hard to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning and come out and post a really fast time. Josh Scott of Canterbury fighting hard. Just 0:021 behind Aaron Gate, the Olympic bronze medalist in the team's pursuit, former world omnium champion. Aaron Gate rides for the New Zealand professional team, Black Spoke Pro Cycling Academy, the leader of that team on the road. Now on the track, riding in his Auckland Centre colours. It's a man who started his cycling at Auckland Grammar School. Aaron Gate up against Josh Scott of Canterbury. Gate just with the advantage, he edges out at 0.75 at the moment, 0.75, so nothing between the 2. Both coaches given instructions from the side, both coaches looking very relaxed. As we look at Gate down the back, has a little look up, just lifts the eyes slightly. Scott has his fixed on the track in front of him.
You see how still the riders are and how easy they're sitting in the aero positions. It takes a lot of training. Just try that on your bike, getting in a really aero position, tucking yourself right in and ride as hard as you can and see how long you can hold that really strong position for. And just consider too that Aaron's already ridden a 1,000 metre time trial at some crazy speed. So it takes a lot of control and training and preparation to be able to do this.
So 2 laps to go for Aaron Gate in this 4,000 metre individual pursuit final. He's now stamped his authority on this race right now. It'd have to go pretty pear-shaped for Aaron Gate of Auckland down the back straight, chasing yet another national title, the 4,000 metre individual pursuit title. Aaron Gate, he'll get the bell lap, 1 to go. 4 minutes on the clock for Aaron Gate. Down the back, now he sees Josh Scott in front of him, a great ride from the young man from Canterbury, but Aaron Gate from Auckland is going to pick up the Vantage Windows and Doors 4,000 metre individual pursuit with a very good 4:13.388. 4:13.388 for Aaron Gate. What a ride when you consider he rode a 1,000 metre time trial just probably around 30, 40 minutes ago. Give him a big hand as he comes around, the national champion, 4,000 metre individual pursuit, Aaron Gate.
So we'll just reconfirm that that time for you when we have that up. May have in fact been Josh's time across that time split that we had at 6:13, but again, still a very, very good ride, and excellent to be able to back that up after that 1,000 metre time trial earlier this evening, and a very, very controlled ride as well. So Aaron just winding down after his ride. He'll warm down and refuel himself for the next 3 days of competition. He'll be particularly happy with that. It was a very, very good ride. If we look from a purist context of pursuiting, a great deal of pressure was put on by Aaron onto Josh, and really forced him to go very deep, and he just pushed ahead in the last in the closing kilometre. Very, very good ride. So Aaron just talking to his coach Simon Fennell, and Barfoot and Thompson Performance Hub coach Myron Simpson just carrying his bike, being congratulated also by Shem Roger and Matt Archibald. So it's a very, very good day for Aaron and Simon. So later on this evening we'll be having the men under 19 and women under 19 scratch race finals. The final 7.5 kilometre for women and 10 kilometres for men. We expect a really high level of competition in that race, in both of those races. So we see the final results up there. Aaron Gates time 4:15.421. Again, very solid ride this morning, backing up from his 4:16 and also a 104 kilo earlier this evening. Josh Scott taking the silver medal, 4:21.662. Another very good ride from him. Particularly good ride from Hugo Jones. Again, another roughly a second off his PB. So just over 5-second PB for Hugo today, 4:19.693. And Boris Clark, 4:29.201, and I believe that's a personal best for Boris as well. So a good day of individual pursuing for our elite men over 4,000 metres, and I'm sure they'll be looking forward to the upcoming events, and again putting their best foot forward and taking on the best that New Zealand has to offer. And now we're just going down to Dell, just pre-medal presentation.
So we're just going to catch up with Myron Simpson, of course, one of the Cycling New Zealand Performance Hub coaches. Myron, great to see so many of the young riders who have come through the hub doing well tonight.
Yeah, I think it's a reflection of what we've been doing for the last couple of years, and hopefully that continues. And good example, Corbin Strong and guys like that just going straight into the elite program. So it's really nice to see those results.
It's often a big transition from coming from under 19 into the elite. Corbin's made the transition, as you mentioned, quite easily, but what makes it so tough?
I think it varies from sprint to endurance, but it's you've got guys in there like Aaron Gate, who's been doing it for 10 or 11 years now, same with Eddie and Sam and Ethan, so it takes time to build a lot of those strengths, but some guys just have the work ethic and the natural ability to do it.
How good was that ride of Aaron Gates? It was a 4:15 in the end when the clock stopped. It said 4:13, but 4:15 backing up from the individual pursuit this morning, an outstanding kilo coming out to ride 4:15. It's impressive.
Yeah, I think he just got faster and faster, and especially coming off the New Zealand Cycle Classic last week, he'll be happy with that.
So for the Performance Hub in Auckland, you had a big carnival up there the other weekend on the outdoor velodrome. Great to see those carnivals still happening. Well done on promoting that.
Yeah, thanks. I thought it was nice to get up some of the Waikato people who are used to racing on the boards, and a few of them were quite nervous, so it was actually quite nice to get them up and used to racing with headwind, tailwind, few bumps along the track as well, and so far the feedback's only been good, so we're really pleased with that.
Auckland Cycling, of course, you'll be looking at the schools racing up there, the secondary schools program. You came through it, I know Aaron's came through it. It's just a breeding ground, isn't it? It's such a great program, that secondary schools competition.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you get 400 to 500 people every second Sunday out at Pukekohe, and I think we can do better at attracting some of those riders onto the track and helping some progress on the road, but yeah, we're pretty lucky, spoilt for numbers.
And when's your next intake for the Performance Hub for the Auckland riders?
Yeah, so that'll be coming up end of April, so we'll be looking to, everyone goes through the process, and we look at it a case-by-case basis and what sort of cycling New Zealand want to target in the next couple of years.
So plenty of opportunity for the riders taking part in the Vantage Windows and Doors Elite Championships, but also the age group championships in Invercargill a little bit later on in the month.
Yeah, we watch that with just as much interest. There's always some that come out of the woodwork, and you generally got an idea of who's going to go well, but it's always cool to see the ones that surprise you.
Well done. Keep up the great work there with the Auckland Performance Hub. Thanks, Moran.
Cheers, thank you.
Kirsty James, what a performance in the individual pursuit tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Take us through the ride.
Well, I've been trying for a couple of years to go out and do a really even pace the whole time, but what I've been doing instead is going out not quite hard enough and then doing kind of a progressive. So in this ride this evening, I really nailed it, just going out hard and trying to hold it. And I held on until the last lap, so that was pretty good.
Fantastic time as well. You must be absolutely wrapped.
Yeah, I saw the time on the board and I thought that's definitely wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was a PB anyway, so I really want to celebrate it because, yeah, I've been working on the IP for a few years now, so it was a really cool achievement for me.
Result like that tonight, we're in such a big build-up towards the World Championships, must give you so much confidence.
Yeah, and it's really cool to come here and represent Cycling Southland because they've supported me so much over the years, and being in the pit with them, I was just saying before, it was like a hotel. They're offering me cold drinks and sorting out my bike for me and giving me heaps of encouragement. So even with a huge event like the World Champs coming up, it brings me so much pleasure to do track nationals for Cycling Southland. It's really cool.
Well, congratulations on a great ride tonight, and all the best for the rest of the championship.
Thanks so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the award ceremony for the 2020 Vantage Elite and Under-19 Track Championships Elite Women's 3,000 metre individual pursuit will now take place. The medals will be presented by Matt Archibald from Vantage Windows and Doors. In third place and winner of the bronze medal representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, Nina Wollaston. And in second place and winner of the silver medal representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, Jamie Nelson. And in first place, the winner of the gold medal in the 2020 Elite Women's 3 kilometre individual pursuit national champion representing Southland, Kirsty James. Yeah, they'll all jump up on the same step. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause and show your appreciation for the place getters in the 2020 Vantage Elite and Under-19 National Track Championships and your gold medal winner, Kirsty James. Ladies and gentlemen, the medal ceremony for the 2020 Vantage Elite and Under-19 National Track Championship Elite Men's 4,000 metre individual pursuit will now take place. In third place and winner of the bronze medal representing Canterbury, Hugo Jones. In second place and winner of the silver medal, representing Canterbury, Joshua Scott. In first place, the winner of the gold medal and the 2020 Elite Men's 4 kilometre individual pursuit champion, representing Auckland, Aaron Gate. Aaron also receives the Ron Cheatley Family Trophy. I know he will treasure that. Ladies and gentlemen, do show your appreciation for the medal winners in the men's 4,000 metre individual pursuit at the Vantage Windows and Doors National Track Championships. I'm going to get an interview with Aaron Gate. Aaron, congratulations on a great ride, but how did you back up after riding such a great kilo as well?
I wouldn't go as far as great. I was a wee way off the mark there, but just had to treat that one as a bit of a training exercise and then still wanted to have a good IP tonight, so it was nice to be able to do that.
4:15 is pretty good after the week you had last week, a ride this morning and a kilo chucked in between. You happy with the time?
Yeah, for sure. It's been about 4 years since the last time I did an IP, and it's a good 6 seconds off my PB, so yeah, pretty stoked, and to get the win is great too.
Well, congratulations. Great start for your national championships. All the best for the rest of the races.
Cheers, Dale. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dal. And as we ready ourselves for the women under-19 scratch race final over 7.5 kilometres, see the riders just circulating on the infield. They'll be led up onto the track reasonably soon. So the riders will expect to see their 135, Amy Blackmore from Auckland, 136, Georgia Cluth from Auckland, 138, Queenie McElwee from Auckland, 139, Ella Wiley from Auckland, 140, Jenna Borthwick from Canterbury, 141, Erin Downey from Canterbury, 142, Michaela Grant from Canterbury, 143, Harriet Rouse from Canterbury, 144, Briley Scott from Canterbury, 145, Charlotte Spurway from Canterbury, 146, Riley Ackroyd from Southland, 148, Natalie Green from Southland, 149, Tyler Green from Southland, 150, Jess Spencer from Southland, and 152, Holly Bliss from Waikato Bay Plenty. So they'll be led up onto the track in just a few moments. So in the middle, the riders just circulating to warm up. They'll be escorted up on the track by the commissaires. The commissaires will just be preparing the timing system and getting themselves ready for the race to begin. You'll see all the riders come out and they'll form up on the fence, and they'll be under the control of the starter at that point. The start will be a neutral lap, and they'll receive the gun at that point, and then they'll be racing over 7.5 kilometres. So it'll be 30 laps. So the scratch race is probably the simplest race you might watch this weekend if you're on for the 4 days of this competition. The first rider across the line wins the race. There are no points along the way. It's just a simple who makes the best sprint in the last lap of the 7.5 kilometre journey will take the gold medal. So just see a couple of the Canterbury riders just out there following around the track at the moment. So the riders just coming onto the track. Michaela Grant, Ella Wiley, Jess Spencer, Riley Ackroyd just going past the start-finish line. Georgia Cluth and Amy Blackmore. So again, just nice simple race. The tactics in this one of the sprinters will be to make sure that they keep themselves in really good position through the last 6 to 10 laps, making sure that they're not boxed in, they're not forced high on the track and riding extra distance. The riders that don't have the strongest sprint but are very strong over a longer period will try to set themselves up to attack with maybe as much as 4 to 6 laps from the finish line and open a gap and hold on till the end, and hope that no one really wants to chase. So a lot of tactics will play out in this race depending on the strengths, the tactical and technical strengths of the riders, of their competitors. So the starter just getting the riders ready at the front there. Looks like Erin Downey. It's Michaela Grant, Jess Spencer, Ella Wiley, Queenie McElwee, Georgia Cluth, Riley Ackroyd, Amy Blackmore, Charlotte Spurway. So riders being ready now. So 15 riders taking the start to this. They'll be called away in just momentarily. So they're away. Just a neutral lap here, so the starter won't let them start if they are separated too much. They'll expect them to be in an orderly line.
So the scratch race, one of the most simple races to follow on the velodrome. It's pretty straightforward. First rider across the line wins the race.
just a wee bingle there. One of the Canterbury riders looks like she's clipped a wheel in the neutral. So Charlotte Spurway, looks like nothing too seriously hurt, other than maybe a little bit of pride. So the riders will just circulate. I'll check Charlotte's bike, maybe repin a number on, and just get it back up there. They'll try to do that as soon as they can. If that happens during the race, if there's a fall, the riders have 5 laps to get back in the field. So rather than neutralising the race, the riders' time is neutralised. Ella Wiley from Auckland just rolling around at the front of the race at the moment. So it looks like we're just about to get Charlotte underway.
The riders roll around. Ella Wiley. So we see the Canterbury rider coming into join the group, so the starter will be happy, as the Italians will say, for Marty Hewson down there in Wanganui, Gruppo Compacto. Amy Blackmore from Auckland, of course, been coached for many years by Paul Leach, rides for the iBuilt cycling team in the Dynamo Team Series from Barradine College. This is going to be a good event. Ella Wiley, Jenna Borthwick, Riley Ackroyd, we've already seen on the track today. It's mainly of these riders, some making their first appearance at the championships. Jessica Spencer.
So Jess was just looking to set quite a good honest pace here. You'll notice the lap score is being changed when the riders go into turn 3. That's where the Gallagher sign is on the track there. So that's where you'll expect to see the lap score changed. And the riders, as they come into the finishing straight, will see the new lap score at that point. So not too much pace at the moment, just a nice solid tempo. Riders just settling themselves down, settling their nerves. I'm sure that Charlotte's nerves have been settled by the wee slide off the track.
So in bunch racing, it's technical. You got to have your wits about you. You got to know what you're doing. As Martin Barra was saying, one of the great things about Campbell Short, not only can he sprint, he's very smart on his bike. And an event we'll all be looking forward to later on is the men's Omnium, which will be coming up in the days to come here at the Vantage Elite and Under 19 National Track Cycling Championships. Lots of riders stepped up from the under 17s last year into their first year. Under 19s, good to see them here, mixing it with some of the rock stars of the sport. 25 laps to go on the scoreboard. It'll change to 24 next time round. So in the 19 women's scratch race, 7.5 kilometres is the total distance. A little bit of looking when you see them across the track, you know there's not too much pace on. Riley Ackroyd just swings up. Leaves it to her teammate to take over down the back straight. Ella Wiley, always easy to pick out. Very smart rider is Ella Wiley. Jenna Borthwick also will be keeping an eye on things. Sits fielding the Canterbury colours. Charlotte Spurway in the white helmet. Of course, the Canterbury riders have to pick them out. 2 on red bikes, white helmets. One's got orange shoes, one's got blue. We'll pick up the numbers. Plenty of time in the race. The fortune can sometimes favour the brave in the scratch race. Holly Bliss just has a little look, swings up the track. No one's too keen at the moment on cranking out the pace, so it's just a nice easy tempo. Ella Wiley rolls through again, so she was at the front last lap, back on the front. Looks over her shoulder, she'll swing up. Canterbury decide, well, we're 3 in a row, we'll just pick things up and see what happens in this race. Jenna Borthwick, the blue shoes on, swings up, hands it over a teammate, little look under the shoulder, picked up. Jessica Spencer moves up from sitting one wide, one back, drifts up the track. Doesn't want to go out too early in the scratch race. So they'll look around. Pace though being reasonably steady. Natalie Green, another very smart rider in the colours of Southland. Just sits mid to the back of the field, drops in at the back.
Michaela Grant just pulling off the front. Ella Wiley been very attentive around the front of the race. Last year at the World Junior Road Championships, Ella was 10th in the road time trial. So a very all-round rider, and also really growing her abilities on the track and becoming a very strong tactical and technical rider.
So Amy Blackmore moves up. The Auckland Skin Suit just moves back. You don't want to get too far back in the scratch race. If there's a split in the middle, you don't want to be caught out. That's why you're seeing the experience of Ella Wiley, very cagey bunch racer, positions herself well, always impressive. Georgia Cluth swings up as well, so the riders in their centre colours at these National Track Championships. The Vantage Windows and Doors National Track Cycling Championships. This is the under 19 7.5 kilometre women's scratch race, 16 laps on the board. When will someone, or will they, make a move? They're not all sprinters. Riley Ackroyd moves up, moves back.
There's a lot at stake at the end of this race, a national title, and I'm sure that every rider is trying to figure out how they're feeling, where they need to be, who are the strong contenders. If it comes down to a sprint, who's it going to be? And it's that rider at the front at the moment will be one of the strongest contenders. The winner of the 500 metre time trial, gold medal winner just an hour or so ago. So if the race continues like this, you're really playing into a rider like Jenna's hands.
So Jenna Borthwick, if you're trying to pick her out on your screen, she has the blue shoes on in the Canterbury colours, the white helmet, but she has the blue shoes. And she just sits at the moment, 3 riders from the back down the back straight as her teammate takes over on the front. Ella Wiley, look at her, just has a wee look, never moves too far back, always looks for a little gap to drop into. A lot of the riders are quite happy to let Ella in because they know she is a very good wheel to follow. Jessica Spencer just having a look at Ella Wiley as she goes around. Goes, oh, if I keep there or thereabouts, I should be in the mix. There's 13 laps to go. They'll get 12 next time past the start-finish line. 7.5 kilometres the distance. Still all fairly quiet in the bunch. The Auckland pairing on the front. Georgia Cluth swings up, going out of turn 1. So now the pace just lifts slightly down the back straight. Swings up the Canterbury rider with the orange shoes on. Charlotte Spurway. Also very good in the bunch racing. Canterbury riders, you'll often see them sacrifice themselves for their teammates. They work well as a centre in these championships, often in the National Track Cycling Championships. It's an individual event, but sometimes in cycling, the first attack, Jenna Borthwick decides, well, we just can't roll around at this pace, 10 to go. Let's just see if we can split it up a little bit straight away. It's Amy Blackmore that reacts. Will Blackmore keep the pace going down the back? She does so. Now just swings up. Leaves it to the Waikato rider. That's Holly Bliss. So Holly Bliss keeps the momentum going. There's a little bit of urgency from the riders at the back trying to move around. 9 to go in the 7.5 kilometre scratch race. Amy Blackmore moving towards the front. Ella Wiley swings high. Charlotte Spurway does the same. Jenna Borthwick just now going down the back. Just sits 3 from the back on the inside. Trying to stay low. You don't want to cover too much distance. Stay high on the track. You still got to do the laps, do the kilometres.
At this stage of the race, you definitely don't want to be too wide. The extra distance as the pace starts ramping will definitely take its toll at the end. So you want to stay down low, and you want to be able to find or make sure you've got some space to get out and follow, or to create an attack yourself. And you'll see riders now just really starting to look around. Who are the key riders? Where are they? What are they doing? what do I need to do? Where do I need to be? A whole lot of questions that go through your head really quickly.
Natalie Green was moving up in the colours of Southland, but it's Canterbury, 1, 2, 3. Southland rider on the 1-1 position on the inside on the track. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow night on Sky Sport Next for full coverage of the Day 2 evening session of the Vantage Windows and Doors National Track Cycling Championships. If you've just joined us, this is the under-19 women's scratch race, straight final. So riders from Canterbury, Southland, Waikato Bay, Plenty, Auckland are the centres represented in here. It's going to be tough. 5 laps to go as they come around. The starter just points to the lead of the race, Ella Wiley. Ella Wiley leads. Erin Downey just making her position near the front, and we see a little bit of a move coming high on the track from the Southland rider. Jessica Spencer decides to just open it up with 4 to go. Now fortune often favours the brave in cycling, so Jessica Spencer decides, well, I'll step it up. Ella Wiley positions herself a little bit better. They're looking at Erin Downey to maybe pick it up in the colours of Canterbury. Now there's a move coming around the outside from Canterbury's Jenna Borthwick. Borthwick goes, well, we can't let Jessica Spencer get too far with 3 to go. 750 metres, Jessica Spencer with the advantage, but here comes Jenna Borthwick. Amy Blackmore also giving chase from Auckland around the outside, but too wide and going back at the moment. A big move coming from Southland, so they're spread out as they come in to get 2 laps to go. Spencer just being picked up. Jenna Borthwick now has to ride another 500-metre time trial. Coming after her from Southland, Natalie Green. So another move from another Southland rider down the back straight. Jenna Borthwick, can she hang on into the bell lap? She's still got the advantage. 1 to go, 250 metres from the Canterbury Rockstar, Jenna Borthwick. They're coming after her. Here comes Ella Wiley. Ella Wiley trying to make inroads. Natalie Green just starting to fade. Ella Wiley fighting on the inside for the silver medal. Jenna Borthwick's going to go away from this. She's going to take the under-19 women's scratch race. Charlotte gets up for second place. Charlotte Spurway. Good ride, wow. Jessica Spencer lit it up with 4 to go. That forced a reaction. No doubt about the strong rider, the top rider in the race. She didn't wait for someone else to do it. Did it herself. Give her a big round of applause. Jenna Borthwick.
So it looks like Tyler Green would have just come over the top of Ella Wiley to claim the bronze medal. Just double check that number in a moment. But Ella led a really strong chase across to the Southland rider.
So the judges will be looking at the photo finish down there on the start-finish line. A busy time, couple of times a little bit quicker than the final times, but they'll want to get it right in the photo finish.
So Charlotte, you remember, was the rider that slid off in the neutral lap. So she obviously recovered pretty quickly and was able to take the second place.
So there they are, the commissaires, Graham Bell, looking at the photo finish. Just seeing what's going on.
So while it's important that they get first, second, and third right for the medal presentations, they also classify the full field, so every rider will receive their correct position. The camera is very clear on that. So riders just exiting the track at the moment. It's a very quick last kilometre, so you can see how quickly the race evolves, and once the pace goes up, if you're caught out of position and you've got too big a gap to ride, then it just becomes too big a gap. And the class and quality of Jenna Borthwick meant that they just unable to close that gap on here.
So the men coming up, we just saw the men, the men in view now coming up on the back straight. A big field, we'll have 2 rows. There'll be riders starting up on the fence, and we'll also have riders starting on the blue band. So full field. You're allowed maximum number of riders in this event. Max Williams in the yellow, East Coast North Island. So a little bit further, 40 laps 10 kilometres is the distance for the under-19 men. It's a straight final. Vantage Windows and Doors National Track Cycling Championships. Of course, tomorrow there will be a highlights, 2 minutes highlights from tonight's racing on Sky Sport Next, as there will be right throughout the 4 days, the highlights of each day's and each evening's racing, and of course at the end of the show on Monday, you'll be able to see full 10-minute highlights of the weekend. And we've had some good highlights tonight, some great rides. Kirsty James, Aaron Gate, Nick Kirkazoo, all winning in very good times. Lawrence Pithy also in the kilometre. Now the tactics change. It's a straightforward sort of race, the scratch race. First across the line wins. This will be, if it's like other years, it'll be fireworks. Lawrence Pithy is number 110. He's on the colours of Canterbury. Up on the fence, he's the fourth rider back. Of course, very good. Doesn't really need any introduction, does he? 2 times junior world champion in the Omnium, which the scratch race forms a part of.
So you'll see there, full field of 24 riders, 12 starting on the pole line and 12 on the fence. Obviously, having 24 riders on the fence, it's not going to fit. So the riders will come together now in the neutral lap, and looks like the bunch is pretty compact, so they should receive a start.
Brendan's happy, he fires the gun, so they will be underway. 40 laps is the distance, 10 kilometres of this 250 metre velodrome. Canterbury, always strong in this event. It's going to be a tight race, keep an eye out. You've got so many good riders taking part, riders we've already seen on the track, riders making their first appearance in these championships. What can they do to stop the juggernaut that's Lawrence Pithy? Of course, spent last year riding for the Skoda team. He also anchored his Christchurch Boys High School team to the National Time Trial title in the Manawatu in late August or September last year. There's nothing he can't do on a bike. He also won the National Criterium Championships in Christchurch. So the big field, as Graham said, 24 riders. The pace, it'll just wind up as the day goes on. The young guy on the fence, can you just get back off it, please?
Michael Richmond from West Coast North Island just lapping off the top of the track, looking for a space in the racing line.
Yeah, there's not always a lot of room on the track. You've got to stay handy near the front. You don't want to get too far back. As we look at Max Williams in the yellow, nice on the track as the riders from Mid-South Canterbury swing up. And the 19 men scratch race, always a title everyone wants to win. Then the pace is on. It's Lawrence Pithy that's going to light it up. So here he goes. He's attacked early. You don't want to let him go too early in this race. 34 laps to go. Lawrence Pithy already on the attack.
Zach Patterson just taking over at the front from him now. Lawrence very quickly onto his wheel, wants to really keep the pace going and force the race to come back to them.
Yeah, well, Lawrence Pithy, if he gets a little bit of a gap, he won't slow down. As you keep an eye on the starter, he will always point to the front of the race. Patterson goes, well, I can't keep this up. Lawrence Pithy decides, well, we'll ease back a little bit.
And there'll be riders at the back of the race that'll be pretty pleased that the pace has just eased up a little wee bit.
Lawrence Pithy stretches his legs. A very good ride in the kilo. Ewan Cousins, Little Ewan, one rider, 130, always there or thereabouts in the colours of West Coast, North Island. Michael Richmond rolls through, swings up the track, doesn't want to do too much.
Zach Patterson again, just pulling off the front. Lawrence Pithy rolling through at the moment.
If Pithy swings up, there are plenty of riders want to follow him. Mitchell Fitzsimmons is the Southland rider that swung back up the track, back into the middle of the field. Max Williams leads down the back from the Mid-South Canterbury pairing. Peter Fish, Ethan Titheridge.
Aidan Merrick of Auckland just pulling off the front now.
Another very good bunch race rider. So another move coming from the pack. Canterbury decide, well, we'll try and pick it up. There's 28 laps to go in this race. There's plenty of time, but you need to really keep up with the action. The pace is on, the pace is fast. That's Ryan McLeod. He's always aggressive. He got it going. Southland decide, well, they'll keep the pace on as well. Swing up, and the field is strung out now. Indian File, all a little bit desperate. McLeod decides, well, we'll keep this pace on. We'll keep them in the hurt box a little bit longer. Michael Richmond, the man from West Coast North Island, he swings out. Pierce Gatley also. 26 laps on the board.
Looks like Jacob Willis of Southland just hovering down around the front, just making sure that he's there or thereabouts, especially when Lawrence is on the front, because you know that the next thing Lawrence will do will be quite a bit faster than he's going now. So just an easing of pace at the moment as people just look to figure out what's happening, where people are at. So there goes Lawrence Pithy again. Max Williams maybe 10 metres behind him, is just struggling to close the gap at the moment, but the sooner he can do that, the better. Max easing across the gap. Certainly not easy. So Lawrence and Max now need to keep the pace on, cause a wee bit of damage in the field.
Well, these two riders you don't want to let get away. They're both very hard workers on the front. Max Williams, as I look over his shoulder, goes, well, we've got a big gap and I've got Lawrence Pithy with me. It mightn't be a bad move just to keep this going right now. Lawrence Pithy, but there's a reaction coming from the Waikato riders. 127 decides, well, we'll just pull things back a little bit. It might be 117 actually. Let's have a look. The numbers aren't in order on my start sheet now. It was Zach Patterson who closed it down.
So Michael Richmond again, just keeping the pace on at the front.
So Oliver Gray was the rider from Auckland 102 who went through, rolled up the track. Now Ewan Cousins sits second wheel. Bunch riders starting to spread out a little bit. The pace has taken its toll. The riders have a little look, see what damage has been done. Ewan Cousins from West Coast North Island moves up, has a look over his shoulder. But South Canterbury sits second wheel. Aidan Merrick from Auckland in there as well. Max Williams, Pierce Gatley, he'll go through on the pole line. This is St. Peter's here in Cambridge. Been a part of their program that was run by Fiona and Tim Carswell. So Southland decide, well, we'll pick the pace up, just see if we can keep things going. It's Jacob Wills.
Like Ryan McLeod again, keeping the pace up. Michael Richmond eases across to him. Aidan Merrick, the Aucklander in third.
Yeah, Ryan McLeod, love the way he races, always aggressive, wants to give it a go. Watched him here during the National Track Series and always wanting to be in the mix. Max Williams, he's got a big gear on again. It looks like he has anyway. He out of the saddle, closes the gap, keeps it together. Riders at the back now starting to feel the pace. There's 15 to go in the 10-kilometre scratch race. Merrick swings up the track. He's the Auckland rider on the Vantage bike, the blue and orange, so easy enough to pick out.
Lawrence Pithy, Navarre Brotherson just tracking him through, and you can be sure that somebody as crafty as Navarre's got a pretty strong game plan in place, which involves ensuring that Lawrence doesn't ride away from him.
Well, you don't want to give Lawrence Pithy any room at all, but they all know that he's got the big target on his back, but he's had that plenty of times before, and he seems to be able to handle the pressure of being the pre-race favourite. Max Williams just moves himself up into fourth wheel on the inside. Some of the riders being Mitchell Fitzsimmons. Now he's starting to show a little bit of interest at the front. Ryan McLeod again. Michael Richmond leads them down the back. So we're just getting a shot of the back straight at the moment. Here we go, here's the riders coming into view. McLeod on the front. Max Williams moves up the track. Just a little bit of a lull in proceedings. They've whittled a few out of the race. Still plenty in there with 12 to go. They'll get 11 next time past the start-finish line.
So Pithy again at the front. Is that Jacob Wills in second place?
So he looks under his shoulder, just sees who's on the inside.
Coming down the bottom of the track is Zach Patterson, just looking up over his shoulder to see where things are at.
Pace has been kept pretty steady. No, only a couple of big attacks. Gatley now sits second position. What will he do? They just a couple of the favourites looking at each other. Merritt goes, well, let's have a look, see what's going on there. Just let people go away.
It's a really good opportunity for these two just to put a bit of weight on the pedals, ease the gap out a bit while there's some indecision behind. Just take the gap out further and then force the race to come back to them.
Yeah, with 9 to go, exactly right. Stand on the pedals. You've got nothing to lose by having to go. You look at the class of the riders in the field, so you might as well take it to them. But Michael Richmond doesn't like anybody being given too much of the track, and he's going after the 2 leaders. Pierce Gatley in the front straight brings the leading trio, Jacob Willis as well from Southland, so both committed and strong. Michael Richmond swings up. He's got to keep it going, so he's only got a little bit of respite. 7 to go. Can the 2 riders out front? Pierce Gatley head down. He's riding aggressively. The local crowd getting behind him as well. He will give it everything. He won't die wondering out there on the track. Willis also, Jacob Wills from Southland. Willis, now they've put the big effort in. They've got the gap. Now here's the lightning move from Lawrence Pithy with 6 to go. Now everyone will chase, but he doesn't wait for anybody. Patterson going after the flying man from Canterbury. So Pithy down the back straight. The other 2, they won't want to stay up the top too long. Pithy will come flying underneath and won't wait. Pierce Gatley drops down onto the back. So we've got 4 riders at the front of the bike race. Who can get across? Can anyone go across to join them? Trying hard is Liam Regan from Auckland. He gets there, but so does the rest of the field. McLeod drags the field up with 5 to go. They'll get 4 next time past the start finish. 1,000 metres left in this 10-kilometre under-19 men's scratch race, and it's all back together. McLeod, though, goes, well, I brought it back. I'm just going to keep the pressure on. Canterbury go to the front, swing up the track. Southland out of the saddle, down the back straight. Some instructions coming from the coaches. Down the back, get after them. Don't let them go with 3 to go. Ryan McLeod. Lawrence Pithy going after Ryan McLeod, as is the man from Southland. That's 117.
Mitchell Fitzsimmons.
Mitchell Fitzsimmons, he's out of the saddle as well. So Ryan McLeod, 2 to go. Here he is, he's on the front, he stretched them right out, Ryan McLeod. Oh, he swings up, Lawrence Pithy, he's just going to keep putting the pressure on the pedals. Fitzsimmons fights back, what a ride from him, he's fighting to get on the wheel of the Cantab. Lawrence Pithy into the bell, this is why he's the World Omnium Champion. Lawrence Pithy, head down. Oh, has he gone to it? He gets out of the saddle. Big run coming from the man from Southland round the outside. Pithy's got some work to do on the inside. Pithy, can he hang on? Is he going to get there? They go to the line. Photo finish. We're on the angle here. We'll give it to the man from Canterbury, but only just. We'll wait for that to be confirmed.
It's a great ride from Mitch Fitzsimmons there, but you can see the real strength of Lawrence Pithy there. You saw that in his kilometre time trial earlier this evening, but to hold Mitch out on his hip, so it was impressive. But again, it'll be a photo finish, that one. Really difficult to figure that out. But you see just how fast the last 4 or 5 laps are of that race, and with riders just fighting for wheels and trying to get across to make sure that gaps aren't there. Big ride from Lawrence in the last 2 laps, and then also from Mitch to get across. So for me, I have no idea who won that race, but I do know that there was not much at all in that in the final of that. So very, very tactical race, that quite fast and very, very tactical. So lots of congratulations going on amongst the riders. So the judges will just be checking the camera, and again they'll be checking the positions of all of the riders. The judges will have noted that live, and noted that on paper, but also the camera will be the primary source of what is right and correct. So they'll be scrolling through every position now. So Zach Patterson from Waikato Bay Plenty and Ryan McLeod at the left of the screen, just having a talk about how that race went. Both riders teammates at the Oceania Championships late last year. Both rode very aggressive final kilometres in that race. Still waiting for some confirmation of the final placings in that scratch race. Ryan McLeod in shot. Just easing through his warm down. So we're just reading ourselves for the medal presentation for the women's under 19 scratch race final.
So ladies and gentlemen, the awards ceremony for the 2020 Vantage Elite and Under 19 Track Championships Under 19s Women's Scratch Race will now take place. The medals will be presented by Matt Archibald from Vantage Doors and Windows. In third place and winner of the bronze medal, representing Southland, Tyler Green. In second place and winner of the silver medal, representing Canterbury, Charlotte Spurway. In first place, the winner of the gold medal and the 2020 Under-19 Women's Scratch Race National Champion, representing Canterbury, Jenna Borthwick. So ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for the place getters in the 2020 Vantage Elite and Under-19 National Track Championships Women's Under-19 Women's Scratch Race. Jenna, congratulations. What a great start to these championships.
Thank you.
What was the highlight for you? A great time trial, the scratch race, two totally different events. Which was the most thrilling?
I think the scratch race was the most thrilling because I'd never ridden like that before and it was cool to see that it can work. Yeah.
You had to go from a long way out, didn't you?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what I was doing.
Were you nervous, like having to chase? Like, it was really aggressive in the last few laps, but you committed and had the legs.
Yeah, I just kind of backed myself and just kept going, yeah.
What's next on these championships for you? What other events are you targeting?
I'm targeting the Pursuit mostly tomorrow. I've got the Kieran on as well, yeah.
So, well, a good start. You're well warmed up, ready to go for tomorrow's racing.
Yeah, thank you.
Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go back to Graham for some results of the last race, the men's scratch race.
And an excellent finale it was too. I wasn't sure whether Mitchell Fitzsimmons had got over the top or Lawrence Pithy. So a great ride from Mitch because that'll be one of the hardest riders to ride around on an indoor velodrome. Zach Patterson holding on for the bronze medal with Ryan McLeod, fourth place, followed by Navarre Brotherston. Max Williams Matthew Ainsworth and Ewan Cousins, so a great first 8 there. So we can see the action in the final kilometre. Saw Lawrence take control in chasing those front 2 riders, Mitch making sure that that gap didn't get too far and really closing in on him on the last lap and coming over his shoulder on the last in the last 100 metres. So a great ride from the field there. We can see I guess the mix of tactical, technical and physical just to get on the podium for this race. So just confirming the medalists for the last under-19 women's race. Jenna Borthwick taking the medal there. Taking the gold medal, Charlotte Spearway of Canterbury the silver, and Tyler Green the bronze medal.
So we're just waiting for the results to be handed over for the men's scratch race. So once we've got that, just waiting for the judges to hand over the confirmed results. Of course, the riders will know, but I can't proceed until we get the official piece of paper. And the finishes are tight. So the results are coming over. Here they go. They're being handed to me now. So we are good to go for the 2020 Vantage Elite and Under-19 National Championships Under-19 Men's Scratch Race. The presentation will now take place. Matt Archibald from Vantage Windows and Doors will once again present the medals. In third place, and winner of the bronze medal, representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, Zach Patterson. In second place, and winner of the silver medal, representing Canterbury, Lawrence Pithy. In first place, and winner of the gold medal and your 2020 Under-19 Men's National Scratch Race Champion, representing Southland, Mitchell Fitzsimmons. Mitchell also receives the NZACA 5-mile Junior Track Trophy, one of the oldest trophies in our sport. Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for the place getters in the 2020 Vantage Windows and Doors Elite Under-19 and Track Championships. This is the men's medal winners in the Under-19 scratch race. So we'll get an interview with the winner, Mitchell Fitzsimmons. Wow. Come over, Mitchell. What a ride. That was a very tight finish. I think in the commentary we called it the other way. Were you confident you got it?
I wasn't quite too sure. I knew it came down to the throw of the bike, so it was pretty close, yeah.
Great trophy to win. Some of the greatest names in the sport of cycling on that very old trophy.
Yeah, it's awesome to get my name written in here, and yeah, it's definitely some big names, eh? Wow.
National Championships, day one, gold medal. What's next?
So I've got tomorrow off, and then just IP and points coming up, and then team events on the Sunday.
Well, congratulations on a great win tonight. Good to get one over Lawrence, and all the best for the rest of the championships.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up day one session here at the Vantage Windows and Doors Elite and Under-19 National Track Cycling Championships. We'll be back tomorrow night on Sky Sport Next to bring you all the racing action. And of course, you can catch all tonight's action on tomorrow's highlights.